special kind of hype train on YouTube right now. Or on Twitch, I mean. What is up, YouTube? Hello, hello, you guys. Welcome in, welcome in. We just finished our little intro over on Twitch, and we're getting started here. Alex says, looks like we picked a really similar look for this challenge based on the thumbnail. I'll take it that I was on the right track. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know, I mean, I feel like a lot of snaps this week are going to be rather similar because, you know, when it comes to making a magical beach, there's a few different directions you can take. But the Moana stuff, the glowing stuff, that has a really good magical quality, and I think that's going to be a very popular approach. As discussed in the Thursday video, today's video that we dropped about the challenge, you don't have to take this route. There's also the Neverland StarPath route that you can take with Ariel, and you can have Ariel's castle. So there's two very good safe options this week. One is more leaning into the Moana direction, the other one's leaning more into the Ariel direction, or you could combine them and do both. So, you know, several good ways to approach the challenge, but I think overall this theme is a little easier than normal, you know. Dang, dude, Jennifer with the 20, Pops with the 100, Dakai with the 300 bits, Samoin with the big 1,000, and Scuttle with another 100. Thank you, guys. Oh, so apparently this special hype train we have right now on Twitch, this is called the Rare Hype Train. It's a treasure train. So I'm trying to see how that works. Apparently it says save 35% on 5 or more gifted subs exclusively during this train. Okay, well, so I guess the treasure train just gives you cheaper gifted subs. Don't worry about that, you guys. No need to worry about the gifted subs. That's a pretty neat little discount, but at the end of the day, we don't have like a gifted sub goal, so you know, don't pressure yourself with that. I do appreciate the bits and the support. Thank you guys. But yeah, cool. We got a little rare hype train. That's neat. That's neat. Scuttle, thank you for the 100. Vox, thank you for the 101. Jen, thank you for the 20. And Black Knight, thank you for the big 100. Dang, dude. Ashley with the 5 gifted subs. I just said you didn't have to do that. I mean, it is cool that they're discounted, so that's pretty neat. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Ashley with the big 5 gifteds here. One going to Purple Knitter, one going to Carly Rain, one going to Island Reptar. Fun name. We got a raid coming in too. Dang, bro, let's go. A raid on top of all this? Oh, and it's from Mr. Star and Sky. Hey, what's up, brother? Thank you so much for the raid, Star and Sky. Great to see you. Great to have you here. Honored to get a raid from you, my friend. Right as we're starting the stream as well. Very exciting, very exciting. Thank you, thank you. Great to have you. Great to have you. And you all drop some love in the chat for Mr. Star and Sky. You guys all know Mr. Star and Sky. Everybody knows Mr. Star and Sky. Star and Sky says, hello, long time no see. Yeah, it's great to see you. You know, I was just thinking about you today. I was thinking about reaching out to you because I have been... So, I don't know if you play survival games as well, but Subnautica 2 just came out, and I was like, man, I would love to, like, reach out to some streamers I know and see if they would want to do, like a play session with the game since the new Subnautica is multiplayer. I don't know if you've ever played the original Subnautica or if you'd be into it, but it is super fun. But, you know, I thought about you today when I was thinking about streamers to reach out to. I was thinking about reaching out to Mr. Left Shark and, you know, you and, I think we can play with up to 4 people. I don't know if you'd be down for that, but there's a lot going on with Dreamlight Valley as well right now, so it probably wouldn't be the best time either because we're about to get a new update as well. But thank you so much for the raid, my friend. I have tried the first one. It was fun. Yeah, I really want to get the new one. It looks so good. I've been seeing a lot of content from it, been seeing a lot of footage from it. And yeah, I think the fact that it's multiplayer, the first one was single player and it was a great game, but the fact that you can play with friends now just looks so fun. But yeah, it is a blast. It is a blast. And I love oceans and water, and like the game is it's just so pretty. If you guys in chat haven't seen Subnautica 2, definitely check it out. You can like just look up a little trailer for it. It's super fun. Frozen Flamingo said it's like the Dreamlight Valley Avengers. Yes, Avengers Assemble. Amy, hello, good to see you. Frozen Flamingo said my 2 favorite Dreamlight Valley YouTubers. Hey, honored to be put in that category. Thank you, my friend. Starcy said, yeah, definitely reach out. I may be interested. Gotta run now. Have a great stream. Sounds good, my friend. Sounds good. Thank you so much for the raid. Greatly appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, my friend. Always a pleasure to catch you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, I'll definitely reach out to Star and Sky about that. That could be a really fun day. Like, imagine getting, like, you know, we can have, like, I want to reach out to Left Shark as well. But yeah, imagine, like, me and Left Shark and Star and Sky and potentially one more, like, coming together and playing Subnautica 2 would be a blast. So, what we're working on today, you guys, we are going to be hosting some Dreamsnap Q&A. We do this every Thursday after I put out my Dreamsnap tips guide. So each week we make a tip guide specifically for each challenge. This is the little example scene I made this week. Now, whatever Dreamsnap questions you guys may have, they don't have to be specific to this challenge. If you want to ask anything about Dreamsnaps, that's what this stream is for, essentially. And thank you again, you guys, for the massive hype train. So nice of you guys. We're already almost halfway done with the goal. Trinkle Panda said, coolest day. I got to raid into Senpai. Yeah, that's fun, Trinkle. You know, you're here all the time, and this time you got to jump in from a raid, so that's exciting. That's exciting. Divorced Cowgirl said, what a fun stream idea. Yeah, I've really been wanting to play. Also, Ice Cat, hello, my friend. Ice Cat coming in with the tier 2 resub. Thank you for the beautiful 14 months there, Ice Cat. Much appreciated, much appreciated. Amy said that would be awesome. Alex says that would be a lot of fun to watch. Yeah, I'm definitely going to reach out to Star and Sky and see if we can work out a day or a time that works for everybody. But yeah, I think it would be really cool just to do something different, switch it up a little bit. And if you haven't seen Subnautica, it is a beautiful game. I can show you guys the trailer for it right now, actually. So if you're not familiar with it, it's a survival game where you're on like an alien world, but it's an ocean world. And you have to like gather resources and survive in this ocean world. But you know, there's like the most of the game takes place like underwater. Like you're basically diving and you're exploring these depths, and there's like massive like Leviathan alien creatures that can get you. So you have to be, you know, pretty careful. But yeah, it just looks so fun. And I played the first one. It was a great game. And I was thinking about, you know, fun ways to go about streaming it. And I was like, since the new one is multiplayer, it could be really fun to get a group of people together that, you know, share community members. So, you know, there's a lot of people that watch me that also watch Star and Sky. A lot of you guys are also familiar with Mr. Left Shark. But yeah, getting a little group together and just having a little Subnautica day could be really fun. Could be really fun. Yeah, Steam only right now, I believe, because it's an early access. Usually for early access games, they're going to start off on PC first. I don't know if Subnautica 1 is available on anything other than PC. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, it's definitely a cool game. It's definitely a cool game. But it just came out for early access on the 14th. So it's only been out for about a week, but I haven't played it yet. I got it on my wish list. I'm going to pick it up probably this weekend. I was also talking to my friend Tommy about playing it. Anyhow. Xena says, how do Dreamlight Valley drops work? I play on both Switch and Xbox. I don't know how to link my Twitch like I did with Paleo. I don't know anything about new drops right now. Are there new drops coming out? Do you guys know? I haven't heard anything about new drops yet. Oh, Subnautica 2 is on Xbox as well? Oh, perfect. And Hope said the first one was on PlayStation and Switch, so that means it was on Xbox too, probably. So I think... Okay, so Subnautica 2 is also on Xbox. So, yeah. Do you know if it's crossplay, Gohan? Do you know if people on Xbox can play with people on Steam for Subnautica 2? Or do you have... Is it just linked by platform? I'm not too sure. But yeah, if you've never played it, the first one's on sale right now since the second one just released. So if you want to, like, check it out, you know, you can get the first one for pretty cheap right now. Great game, by the way. Between Disney, Dreamlight Valley, and Pokepia, I have zero time for more games, says the guy. I feel you there. I've been slacking on Pokepia lately. This trailer with the Animal Crossing music in the background is hilarious. Yeah, that was kind of a funny combination for sure. Anne says, I can't get the crouch to work. I did what Mr. Starsky said, and I'm trying, but I'm still small in the bottom middle of the snap. What am I doing wrong? Selfie mode? Oh, okay. I know what you're asking. You're asking how to get the camera mode low in portrait mode. Okay, I can show you. I can show you how to do that. Great question. Great question. So first, let me fix my time of day here. Okay. All right. So we're at sunset. So that's weird. I wonder why the villagers aren't moving. I'm not hanging out with them. They're just chilling. Huh. Okay, so here's how you can do it, Ann. First, you're going to be in selfie mode. Make sure you have an item here to push up the camera, of course. So you can get nice and close with this. But you're going to go... And the real trick with this, Ann, is you have to be fast with it. That's where you can kind of mess up. So when you're in selfie mode, tilt your camera down a little bit like this. Make sure you're not angled up. So tilt it down so you see the sky a bit. Then you hold left trigger and press Y on Xbox. Can be different on different platforms, but it'll tell you how to stand/crouch on the left side of your screen. So once you've done that, your camera is now low. Now what you do is you uncrouch and immediately switch camera modes while you uncrouch. If the timing isn't right, the camera will not be low. So basically we're gonna left trigger Y, then Y immediately, and boom. So to stand back up, you have to hold left trigger and press Y, and then you have to release left trigger and immediately press Y again, and it'll go back to portrait mode, and now your camera is going to be angled at the ground like this. Now, the reason this is a fun thing to do with Dreamsnaps is because with certain companions, you sit on the ground, and you can get a really good shot of you with those companions by using this technique. For example, if we go to the little robot, right, that's a really good one to use for this. We go to our little Eternity Isle robot. So if you're having a hard time doing it, it's most likely just because you kind of need to master the timing. So you have to be very quick. That's the thing. So right when you uncrouch, you got to immediately release the trigger and press Y. And now we're on the ground, and now we can have this portrait mode shot where we're actually zoomed on the avatar. And this is a very fun thing to do for Dreamsnaps, especially if you're using one of these poses on the ground, like the fox pose or the robot pose. You know, we could even hide the robot here, and we can just have a cute snap of us sitting on the ground with our beautiful beach scene behind us. So a very useful approach for snaps. I actually haven't used this for any of my submissions yet, but I probably will eventually. So you were saying triangle. So you're triangle would be Y for me. So you're on PlayStation. So Anne said, I can't get the crouch to work. I did what Mr. Star Sky said, but I'm still small in the bottom of the snap. What am I doing wrong? Selfie mode, L2 plus triangle, and then triangle again, and nothing happens. So it's either your camera angle was not low enough. So let me walk you through it again, just so you know we got it. So I'm in selfie mode. I'm going to tilt the camera to where it's a little lower here. Now I'm going to crouch. And then you have to be very fast with this next part. So you uncrouch, immediately switch camera modes, and then pull your angle downward so it stays on the ground. If you let the camera come back up, it might not register there. So the tricky thing with this technique is that, you know, again, you got to be very fast. You got to be very fast when you stand back up and switch camera modes. Panda said, after a year of saving, I just got my first Steam Deck. Oh, let's go! That's very exciting, very exciting. Welcome to the Steam family, my friend. Absolutely love Steam. Island Reptar said, I just saw I received one of the gifted subs from Ashley. Hey, let's go, let's go. Thank you again for the 5 gifted, Ash. Gohan says it does have crossplay. Oh, good, good. Okay, nice. Lunaris, hello. Lunaris said, good afternoon, Senpai. I hope you're having a good day so far. Would you recommend getting the ocean in the shot this week? Or do you think it won't matter? So, you can definitely include the ocean, but when it comes down to it, Lunaris, I usually include the ocean in my beach snaps. But the reason in Seaside Chic, the reason the ocean was such a big deal is because of the title, Seaside. In this one, it's Beachy Bliss. So as long as you have a beachy environment, you're going to be okay. The real thing you need to dial in on, the real thing you need to focus on, just like with most stream snaps, is your beauty factor. You want the picture to be visually stunning. And ultimately, whether you have water or not, if your photo executes the theme and it outpaces what it pops up against in terms of beauty and that magical quality, then it's not going to be detrimental to either have or not have the ocean. Now, having the ocean can be great because you get access to some great water decor. You can use things like Prince Eric's ship. You can use things like Ariel's castle. So, you know, if you want to have the ocean in your shot, I think that's wonderful. But as seen in this example photo, you know, I don't have the ocean in mind, but it still feels like Beachy Bliss still works very well. So if you would rather not have the ocean this week, I think that's totally fine, as long as it feels like a beach. You know, that's the big thing. You want to have that Beachy Bliss feel. And we talked a lot about that in my video today. But, you know, if you'd rather include the ocean in your scene, that's great because you get access to a lot of good water decor. And, you know, players do like seeing the ocean in ocean snaps. But, you know, for, like, our second Dream Snap challenge ever, it was called Ocean Views. So, of course, I made sure to show the ocean in that. In Seaside Chic, since it was seaside, I really wanted to showcase the ocean in that, just to highlight the fact that we were seaside. But there were tons of snaps that got 4K that didn't show the ocean. You know, it wasn't something absolutely mandatory. When it comes down to it, you know, it's more so than focusing on whether you do or do not have the ocean. I would say what's more important is making sure you have a stunning, high quality, and beautiful Dreamsnap submission. And really focus on things like the Beachy Bliss. You know, I talked about that in the video as well. The definition of bliss would be like, you know, being overjoyed, you know, extremely content. So using a pose that expresses that blissful nature of the scene. And then really playing up the magical quality of the beach. Since, you know, the challenge mentioned a magical beach kind of environment. Having all these beautiful glowing items and maybe a nice beautiful silhouette in the back. Some little rainbows, the aurora. And then it also mentioned golden sand, so using things like pixie dust to play up those elements. You don't need a lot of it. I wouldn't go too crazy, but maybe a couple little piles of pixie dust. Utilizing villagers, you know, different pets and companions. And then, of course, droppable items too, like the sorcerer crabs are very magical. The starfish, the little snails. There's so many fun droppable items you can include to really bring up that magical quality. But if you're not going to have, you know, the actual ocean featured in your snap, like the actual water, you can just make up for that by making sure the snap has a beachy feel. So palm trees, luminescent palms, different shells. You know, this is very obviously a beach, with or without the water. So just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. And again, if you want to utilize the beach, then, you know, that's totally great. Amy said the magical part is throwing me off. Well, if you watch today's snap guide, I talked about that in great detail. When it comes to the magical vibe, I mean, just think about all the beautiful magical items we have in the game for the beach. Like the glowing ferns, the glowing corals, the luminescent trees. And then, you know, adding little elements like pixie dust, and then having some like floating bubbles on the side. You know, these are all very magical elements. Also, things like fireflies and the aurora have a very magical feel. So when it comes to making a magical beach, the best way to do that really is by playing up these beautiful magical elements to make it feel like a fantasy beach in a way. Like, this doesn't look at all like a real beach. It looks like a magical beach. And thankfully, you don't need a lot of premium shop items to do this. Many of these items are just old screwed shop items, like the small and medium coral ferns, the luminescent palms, the little beadlet anemones, these pink glowing corals over here. Lots of good items that you can utilize. And, you know, the Little Mermaid bench with the glowing coral beside that. These coral coat hanger things, these yellow corals here on the side, like this one right here on the left, and this little one over here on the right. And then other elements to increase that magical feel, like, you know, some beautiful rainbows. There's a lot of ways to pull in that magical feel. So, you know, the Moana tab is going to be very helpful. I wish the rainbows would come to the shop. I only started playing in December. I missed so many of it. Oh my gosh, did you not get the rainbow during the St. Patrick's Day event? Because it's not a premium shop item. The rainbow I have here, we just did the event for it. So this pot of gold rainbow is from the little St. Patrick's Day event. And since you started playing in December, you had a chance to get this, I think, just like a month and a half ago. These are craftable during the event. So you can craft these. You might still be able to craft it, honestly. If anybody's here that has extra clovers left over, they might be able to give them to you, and you might still be able to craft this. Actually, I'm pretty sure you can. You would just need the item. So if you go to your crafting table, unless you've never picked up the clovers, then you might not be able to make this because it might not show up. But if somebody drops the clovers for you, you might be okay. But yeah, those rainbows, these ones you get, they're not premium. They don't come to the shop. They're event items. Now, this one is from the Neverland STARPATH, but honestly, it's not as pretty as the pot of gold one. It's a lot more pale. Look at the color difference. And I mean, it's still a pretty rainbow. Don't get me wrong. I don't dislike it. But if we put them side by side like this and we look at them, if I boost the saturation here, let me get this giant bee out of my face. And get these villagers out of here too. And maybe the avatar, just so you can see what I'm talking about. So you see these two rainbows here? When we boost saturation, look at how much better the pot of gold one looks. Look at that, like, deep, deep red, that deep yellow, that beautiful blue and purple. It also has more of a color spectrum than the Neverland one. So, yeah, hopefully you can get your hands on that one. And like I said, if you didn't pick up enough clovers, you can always see if somebody in the community has some extras, and maybe they can give you some, and you can still make them. That way, at least you have that rainbow. And like I said, I think this rainbow is the best. This is the prettiest one. The only thing I don't really like about it is the cloud. But what I usually do is have it kind of stretch out of the scene. You know, I have the cloud kind of go out of the scene and just have the rainbows on the sides, or you can hide it behind things. But yeah, this one you should be able to access. And then if you have this one, you don't have to worry too much about the Peter Pan one, because at least you have the option. But again, the Neverland one, this one's cool too. And the nice thing about this one is it can actually go in water, which is what makes this a very solid option when it comes to Dream Snaps. It's got a little bit more utility. It just doesn't have the same spectrum of colors as the other one does. And this will eventually come back to the shop, but usually for returning StarPath items, they take about a year, I think, from the original release of the StarPath before they come rolling back around. And if we look, Neverland was, yeah, each update is a couple of months, so it's, yeah, it actually might come back next update, because during this update, we got, you know, I think the return of some Garden of Whimsy stuff, so there's a good chance next update we'll have the rainbow back. Potentially, you know. So yeah, that could end up happening. I'm kind of disappointed, Lunaires, about the Garden Stones, like for the vault. So I think it's really cool that in the vault rewards, they gave us a new version of the Garden Stone with like this crystal version. But I feel like if you didn't have the regular version, it would have been nice if you could choose between the two. Because I like this crystal one, but it's not as versatile as the regular Garden Stones. So yeah, hopefully that'll come back around soon. I need to pick up this new archway. I don't think I've done the new routine duties yet either. Oh, well, there we go. Go fish, earn star coins. Oh, I still have to have my companion pick up stuff. I'll just drop some flowers and have them scoop them up. And yeah, I think I can collect this now. Hello? There we go. Nice. Yeah, so since the vault has Garden of Whimsy stuff, the next StarPath vault should be Neverland, I think. Yeah, the archway's really pretty. I do like this. I do like this. Very cool. Oh, yeah, the lights on it are really nice. That's awesome. All right, cool, cool. Yo, Ghost Girl, hello, hello. Welcome back, welcome back. All right. So, anybody got any more Dreamsnap questions? Hopefully, the advice we gave Ann on getting that ground shot works out for him. If not, I would just practice the timing. That's the big thing with that one. I want to try to use it in my snap this week. The flowers on it are so pretty. Yeah, I mean, you know, the snap does call for foliage and, like, magical items. So, yeah, it could work. It could work. I want to build another snap just for funsies. I kind of want to build, like, a Ariel-themed one over here as well. What should I use on the ground if I don't have the bricks? Bricks? You mean the garden stones? Tropical wood. So if you don't have the garden stones for a beach build, I think the next best thing you could use really would be, well, it's not underpathing, so that's annoying. The tropical wood planks that you can craft. Yeah, tropical wood floor. If you have Eternity, you can craft these, but these are nice too. You know, I use these. I like to kind of rotate them, like rotate, make like a little bit of a makeshift like checkerboard kind of pattern here. but these can be great. You know, they work very good for a beach environment. And we also have the corner piece. I just don't like this piece very much. It can be good for, like, wood fragments, you know, if you're, like, building something, you know, could be kind of a cool detail, but yeah. But these are good options. Those are good options if you don't have the garden stones. Can the Lotus House from the current StarPath work, or is that not the vibe? I mean, you could use it, I guess, but I would focus more on things that have a very beachy feel. Just, you know, because there's plenty of beautiful houses that are, like, native to the beach. At the end of the day, Dreamsnap's performance is closely tied to beauty, and it is a beautiful house. So, I mean, sure, you could use it. Though, even if I had it, I feel like we will get a challenge where the new house, you know, is, like, a fantastic thing to use here. And I'm pretty sure I can unlock it, actually. Yeah. I mean, it is magical. It might not be the beachiest house, but it's a very magical house. But, I mean, if you're really itching to use it, I can pretty much guarantee you we're going to have a challenge where this works really well. And it could work well here, but the big thing I recommend to make sure you have a very magical beach is to really play up the native magical beach elements. You know, like the things that truly fit in here, like the coral, the glowing ferns, the bench, the bioluminescent palms. And those items are going to look a bit more natural if you pair them with beachside homes. Like, you know, a lot of this stuff is Moana themed, so having Moana's house can be really nice. The Tiki house works really good with Moana's house if you have that. Or again, you can go in the Ariel direction. I think those two directions are best. You know, as far as, like, what's safe. But, you know, you can definitely still get 4K doing something a bit outside of the box. As long as it has a really strong beauty factor and, you know, it ends up being very appealing to the voters. But yeah, it doesn't have the beachiest vibe. And for me, I try to make the theme, like, extremely obvious in all of my submissions. So if I'm doing a beach scene, I'm always going to use, you know, houses that are specifically designed for the beach. Yeah, the wisps as little jellyfish. I can see that. I can see that. A lot of people can't use them, though, because they're bugged on multiple platforms. But yeah, they do kind of look like little jellyfish. And they're also magical. You know, even if they're not jellyfish, they can just be a little blue, you know, beach wisp. So it's a fun little magical item. They do look pretty cute back there. Yeah, Willow, that's what we were just talking about, is these garden stones. They have really good Dreamsnaps utility, so, you know, hopefully they'll come back around. I still think, you know, in the vault, they should have given everybody these garden stones. Since we got, you know, we got like a new version of one, the crystal version, but yeah, it would have been cool to get the garden stones for everybody because they're very useful. Silvertap said I might buy those. I mostly play on Xbox, but can play on PC, Xbox app to use them. Well, you could always pin them if they're broken on your main platform right now, and then just pick them up when the new update comes out, because, you know, they're a premium item. Gameloft doesn't always fix things right away, but if it's like a brand new premium item, it's very likely to get fixed. So the shooting stars that came out in this update that are bugged on PlayStation, those will very likely be fixed right when the new update drops. Same with the wisps. They kind of have to fix it because it's a paid item. So if you do get them, It's not like you're going to have to worry about them being broken for too long. And if you don't want to buy something that's currently broken, you can just pin it in your shop and then pick it up as soon as, you know, you confirm that it's been fixed with the new update. So that's another option for you. Whoa, he can go right on top of the anemone. They can actually go on right on top of a few things. Oh, dude, that's kind of cool. I can layer it on top of these to make these anemones glow. Dang. Can it go on this? Oh, wow. That's pretty neat. I didn't even know it could do this. So you can actually, like, put these inside of things. That's pretty cool. Okay, well, learned something new today. Yeah, I've heard they're broken on Xbox and PlayStation, which is really unfortunate, you know? Like, they're a really fun, cute new item. And if Gameloft would just kind of play test some of this stuff before releasing it, they would be able to find those issues before, you know, we do. But it seems like we're always the ones finding the issues. The bubble things. So there's a lot of different bubble things you can use. These ones here are from the premium shop a while back. It was this musical, like, Little Mermaid set. It comes with this harp over here. It comes with, like, a set of drums. It comes with this little, like, bubble pipe organ kind of thing. They also all have their own little music. Yeah, here's the drums. And it comes with, like, a little tuba. So this was a little premium shop collection. Now, there is another bubble item right here if you want bubbles. This, if you did the Neverland StarPath, this is another thing you can use. So you interact with this and you get some bubbles that way. And then the first thing we ever got added to the game that put bubbles in was that little bubble machine, which is also premium. But there's this little guy. Not as fun because it doesn't have, like, the beachy vibe, but you can always put it on the edge of your frame. But yeah, I like these because the bubbles are more blue. That's what's really fun about this collection. So, you know, you can clearly see, especially when you boost the saturation, that the bubbles have, like, a really nice shade of blue on them. Whereas the bubble machine and then this, these look more like soap bubbles. Like, they have, like, a little pearlescent sheen to them. Which is kind of why I'm using these ones at the front of my photo, just to get that nice blue bubbliness. I think, Heather, if you check under the Little Mermaid tab, you might find them there. Let me double check that. Let's see. Little Mermaid. Yeah, they have the Little Mermaid tag. So if you're not sure if you have them or not, just filter for Little Mermaid and then filter by new, and they should come up pretty close to the top. Mary said I have the ones from the StarPath. I missed the premium shop ones. They probably would have been in the shop this week, but since Gameloft didn't know exactly what this challenge was going to be because we had to vote on it, they didn't really put anything in the shop that, like, was made for this challenge specifically. And for my outfit, I didn't include this in the video, but what I'm probably going to end up wearing is this one. Kind of leaning towards the Moana fit, since I'm doing, you know, since this is more of a Moana style. I do want to change the earrings, though, and I also want to add the kelp bracelet. You know, not really the other accessories I want to wear. Now, I think for the Moana outfit, though, I can't wear my... Oh, I can wear a necklace with it. Okay. Oh, that could be kind of cool. Hmm. Yeah, I like this outfit a bit more for this build. Especially if I end up posing with Moana. I'll probably throw Maui in the background. I was in the midst of setting up my snap, so I'm glad I dropped by your video, says Beyblade. Hey, very nice, very nice. How's the build coming? How's the build coming? Alex says that's a super cute bracelet. Ann says, no, I still can't get the crouch to work. I can get a close-up, but when I sit down, I'm still low, and the tables are showing up. If I move further back, nothing happens. I've tried like 200 times. Huh. Whoops. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I mean, really, it's just all in the timing. And so if it's not working for you, then... Because, you know, you have to hold left trigger, then press triangle to stand up. But right after you do that, you have to immediately press triangle again. And then the camera will be lower than this. But if you don't press it fast enough, the camera will be at its normal range. So you have to go left trigger triangle, then left trigger triangle triangle without left trigger. Like, extremely fast. But, you know, there's nothing else to it. It's really just, you know, being quick enough. The exact second that you uncrouch, you have to switch camera modes right then. So you have to hold left trigger and then press triangle and then release left trigger and immediately press triangle again, like right away. Otherwise it won't work. So here, you know, it did work and we got the camera lower. And if you do that while pushing the camera closer, you can't be right on the item that's pushing the camera, right? You see how I'm really close to it here? If you do that, you're going to be way too low even with the camera pushed up. So if we uncrouch and spam, you know, now I'm right here, but I'm just like extremely close to the camera. So how you frame it is also going to be important. So this is back far enough here. But yeah, it's just, you know, it's all about timing. And this is why Gameloft really should just give us better camera features. The fact that you got to jump through hoops like this and like glitch the game out to like get a shot like this is kind of silly. They really need to kind of just do an overhaul on the camera and on villagers and on pets and just make everything a lot more accessible. Because as it stands right now, like the only way to get a shot like this is to do that camera trick where you go into selfie mode, you crouch, and then you uncrouch and immediately change modes. And you have to be super fast with it or else it will not work. Great, except I have to restart because my character lighting bugged out. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. I just dealt with that on last week's challenge. And it drove me crazy. I had everything set up. I had trapped like 14 villagers. I had them all in the right place. Everything was perfect. And when I got ready to take my picture, my character lighting was bugged. And I had to restart my game, which basically made me have to go get all the villagers again and trap them all. What is... Okay. Look at my hair. Beautiful, beautiful. It's like a little shell. This game is so buggy, dude. This game is so buggy. What are we doing? You think we're still in early access. Look, it's still doing it. Look at that. Oh, Alex, you're going on a honeymoon soon? Nice. Congrats, my friend. Congrats. I hope you guys have a wonderful time. We're spending Saturday in Vancouver, and then cruise leaves Sunday to Alaska. Oh, that's so cool. Well, congratulations to you and your partner. That's very exciting. I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful honeymoon. Baby said, it's the worst. Luckily, I only have to deal with settings and 2 villagers for this one so far. Yeah, that's not too bad. We've never been to either, so very excited. Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Alaska. I think it would be so cool to see. That would be cool hair with the surf glider and a snap. Oh, yeah, that would. Also, by the way, if you picked up the Tatooine house, I really liked adding the Tatooine sand to, like, my build here because it looks way more gold, and I put it around the bench, and I really like the added texture of that. I might add even more to the build in, like, different places, but the Tatooine sand does look really nice, like, with these magical beach builds, because you can just add a little bit of, you know, a little bit more texture to your scene, you know, just adding a couple little patches of that golden sand in there. I really like it around the bench. You know, this is probably my favorite spot to have it, just because it's like a little trafficked, you know. So I got a portal message that you were talking about North Carolina on your last stream. You're from the Triad area. Yeah. I'm from Wilmington, like the southeast of North Carolina. So I grew up like right outside of Carolina Beach, Curie Beach, Wrightsville Beach. Samantha said I had that happen to my hair the other day when I was doing a BS snap. It was so annoying. All right, maybe I should knock out maybe I should knock out my other routine duties real quick. I think I'm just going to get some pets that gather flowers and just drop a bunch of them and pick them up to knock out that one. Go fish. I hate fishing in this game. And then earn star coins. I can just refund some items from Scrooge for that. Yeah, let's go fish. We're going to get these routine duties knocked out. Sarah's so jealous. I'm from Charlotte originally. Wilmington is beautiful. It is beautiful. I love my hometown. Wilmington is a wonderful place. A lot of history there. A lot of art. A lot of culture. And then you have the beaches right nearby. So, you know, we used to go to the beach like every weekend in the summer when I was a kid. The only thing is that Wilmington has gotten extremely overpriced. Because there's not, you know, it's a small peninsula. You don't have a lot of room there. And tons and tons of people from up north have been retiring over the decades, like in Wilmington, because it's kind of at the point where the snow stops. And, you know, you very rarely see snow out there. And in addition to that, you have, you know, it's just a very, very touristy area. So a lot of properties get bought up for Airbnb. A lot of people retire to the area. I mean, to put it in perspective, before I left, I had moved into my current place for around $1,600 a month. When I left, that same exact spot was $2,500 a month for whoever came next. So And that's just, it was just mind-blowing to me how expensive it had become. But yeah, that's the only downside to living in Wilmington now is, you know, how expensive it had become. My grandma lived in Wilmington. We used to visit in the summers. Yeah, it's a great place. It's a great place. Beautiful spot. Downtown Wilmington is really nice. It's changed a lot since I left, too, because I've only been gone for, like, you know, going on 5 years, but, like, it's hardly recognizable. Don't come to California? Oh, you don't have to tell me that. I wouldn't. No, thank you. No, thank you. Yeah, I don't want to move anywhere where it's like $1 million for a shoebox. I'd rather live where it's affordable. I'll leave that there. The guy said, yeah, I wish I could get out of here. Well, that's why a lot of people have been leaving the state, you know? The cost of living has just gotten crazy out there. But the cost of living has gone up just, you know, in a lot of places. But, you know, I've heard it's gotten really bad in a lot of the big cities in Canada, I've heard. And, you know, it's been bad in California for a long time. It's getting really bad in Wilmington. But yeah, the reason it's so bad in Wilmington is because, you know, it's a very, very small peninsula where the city and the beaches all reside. There's not a lot of undeveloped land left. And, you know, almost every time a house hits the market, it's snatched up for an Airbnb. I definitely think we need legislation against, you know, homes getting bought up by, like, Airbnb and... Because a lot of them are like corporations that just buy up a bunch of houses and rent them out as Airbnbs. But for areas like Wilmington, where they're like a very, very, you know, tourist-driven location, it just makes, you know, if anybody that wants to purchase a home out there, it's very difficult. Because you'll usually get outbid by somebody that wants to open up 14th Airbnb out there. Is my seafood counting? I think we got it. I think we're good. Yeah, okay. And then we just need star coins and have companion pick up stuff. Okay, okay. Easy peasy. Let's go refund some old items to Scrooge. Cambria said, I'm in Southern California, and it's crazy what happened with our fire insurance on our home. We don't even live in a fire area. Oh, God, that's got to be so annoying, dude. Well, it's kind of like living, you know, if you have a beach property, like in Carolina Beach or Curie Beach, we get so many hurricanes down there that not only are the beach houses extremely expensive, but in addition to that, you have to carry, like, the flood insurance, which is also pricey. All right, let's see. What do I have I can refund for some quick cash? Let's go, like, way down here. I don't like these windows. I'm going to refund 2 of these. There we go. All right, there's our money. Okay, now we just got pick up what your critter companion finds. I think for that I can just have them pick up flowers I drop, right? Doesn't that work? I mean, they won't duplicate them, but it'll still count, I think. Yeah, Dinah picks up flowers. Magic Carpet picks up flowers. And I don't even have to go get flowers. I can just pull them right out of here. Yeah, if this doesn't work, I'll just use a wood farm. I guess it doesn't work. Well, that's annoying. Alright, I'll just grab some dogs and go get wood. Maybe it just doesn't work on floating islands. I don't know. Do you think using the Beach Critter Companion home from the Olaf Showcase would be good to use this week? Yeah. Yeah, anything at all that's like beach related. Anything that's like beachy, magical, or beachy and magical is, you know, a good option. All right. How many more do we need them to pick up? Where are we at? 4 more pieces of wood. Okay. There's a digging spot. Come here, Max. And dig up those shards, buddy. There you go. Almost done. I should have a little bit more wood, I think. Yeah, here we go. Let's get the puppers to take their sweet time. Yeah, that should do it once they pick those up. Yeah, we should be good. So yeah, for the little sea turtle reward you guys were talking about. This little setup. Again, anything beachy, you know, you don't even have to ask. If it's beachy in nature, then you can use it, and you know you'll have some cute little turtles too. Also, the lights on it look pretty nice. Okay, I think we have everything. Let's see what we get. Nice. I love that the red chest guarantee items if you're missing anything from Scrooge. And now I can just get some extra Moonies. Yeah, I think we have everything, right? Yeah. Why did it send me all the way back? Come on now. About 1,000 Moonies. All right. There we go. Nice, nice. We're coming back up. Nan says, I'm still waiting on that veil fence. Well, you got the red chests. I got another stone vine from my red chest last time. So I finally have 2 of these stone vines now. I've only been able to find 1 in the Scrooge shop, but now I got a second one of these thanks to the vault rewards. So I think I'm just missing 1 final stone vine. Even after 4 chests, still no fence for me. It's been like 2 years. Yeah, if there's any other stuff you're missing, you know, then there's a chance you'll get that instead of the fence. They really should fix the Scrooge shop, honestly. I think it's kind of absurd that you can own a DLC for 2 years and still not have everything you paid for. Because when you buy a DLC, you know, you're essentially buying all the Scrooge furniture, you know, everything that DLC offers. I think if you ever visit a DLC Scrooge shop, you should be guaranteed a new item once per day if you're missing anything. It should be 100% automatic. So the fact that you can own a DLC for years and still not have everything, because it's just luck-based, which is stupid. Like, some people will get everything, you know, pretty easily. Others will have to check their shop daily for a year and still won't get everything. You know, I am glad they're doing the vault reward thing, because, like, at least that's another way to get stuff you're missing. So that's great. But we shouldn't have to take that route, you know? Like, I feel like that's... It's a fun addition to the game to, like, make sure you get stuff that you haven't picked up yet. But it shouldn't be, like, the only reliable way to get new Scrooge stuff. You know what I mean? Amy, it was probably a different version that you didn't have before. The vault rewards are guaranteed new. Like, for example, one of the new things I got, I thought I already had, but it was just a different version of it. So if I go to new stuff, one of my recent vault rewards... Oh, I think I have to go indoors to see it. Oh, here it is. The Alpine Cupboard. So I was like, didn't I already have that? But it was marked new. And yeah, I have like just one of them. But the game is coded to give you new stuff. Now, if you've already got everything in the game, if you've already got everything that you could possibly get from Scrooge, then you will get old items. But the stuff you get from the vault rewards, not from the Dreamsnap rewards, not from anything else, just the vault specifically, is guaranteed new. Willow said, what are vault rewards? The red chest that you get from the vault. You know, it's right here on your Dreamsnap tab, vault rewards. They added this to the StarPath this season. This is brand new. So as you complete routine duties, you can unlock these vault rewards. If you haven't been doing this, Willow, make sure you pick these up before it ends. There's only 11 days left in the StarPath, and if you've been doing your routine duties, you should have all of these. So every 3 routine duties you complete will grant access to a new vault reward. Now, if you already have this item, so like for me, I already have these marigolds. So since I already have the marigolds, I get a red chest instead. And the red chest guarantees a new item. Now, if you don't have these, like if you didn't do the Garden of Whimsy StarPath, you will not get red chests. You will get the item itself. You will get the marigolds. I believe that's how it works. I don't know. I already have all the stuff. Well, if you got stuff you already had from the vault chest, every single vault chest I've opened has been new stuff. And I haven't heard about anybody until now saying that they got vault stuff that they already had. Like, nobody's complained about that. Nobody said that except till right this moment. So if that did in fact happen to you, why not submit a ticket with Gameloft? You know, like why not like you know, send them an email about it. That way, maybe they can send you a new vault chest that gives you something new. I've opened 4 vault chests, and every single time, I've gotten something I didn't have. What about you, chat? Any... Silvertab said, yeah, that's how it works. I didn't have any of the things, so I got no red chests. Gotcha. But yeah, in the patch notes, it said, in the patch notes, if you read the patch notes, it said the vault rewards, I mean, I can pull it up. It said the vault furniture rewards are guaranteed to be new. And every single time I've opened them, I've gotten new stuff. So I'm not sure what's going on with your game. But, you know, you can always... You can always submit a ticket about it because these are, you know, according to the patch notes, these are guaranteed new items. And every single time I've opened one of these vault reward chests, I've gotten something brand new. So if you didn't get something brand new, but you're missing Screwed Shop items, I would open a ticket about it because that's not supposed to happen. Lunaire said it could be stuff that they had previously that they sold or were out of. Yeah, potentially. I don't know. Either way, the Screw Chop items are kind of annoying to collect, so I would definitely submit a ticket about it. It only takes, like, you know, 60 seconds to type up a quick email and attach a photo to it. And if the patch notes say, hey, you're guaranteed to get new stuff, and you don't get new stuff, you know, I wouldn't let it slide. Gina said I got the vines and the fence. Ooh, yeah, that's a good pull. Bell said I got old stuff because I own everything. Well, aren't you just the go-getter? Meredith said, admittedly, I don't like what I got, but it was brand new. Nice, nice. Yeah, every time I've opened them, I've got something new. All 4 of them. All 4 of them. D4 said no vault reward chest for me. I just got the original items. Yeah, if you didn't do the Garden of Whimsy StarPath, you won't get these red chests. You'll just get, you know, like the marigolds and the mushroom table, which is great. You know, at least you get StarPath items, so that's cool. Getting old StarPath items without paying for them is pretty nice. I mean, I'd rather get that than Screw Shop items, to be honest, if I did miss a StarPath. Alex says, I've been making sure to buy up anything with a red dot in Scrooges, whether I need it or not. What I do in Scrooges, what I've always done, because you never know what you're going to need for a Dreamsnap. You just simply don't. So I make sure I always have one of each item, even if I'm never going to use it. You know, we have no limit in this game on inventory. There's no limit to how much furniture you can hold. So for me, you know, I never know what I'm going to want to use. So I never get rid of all of an item. I never even place all of an item. I pretty much go through, and occasionally I'll just go in here and go to furniture. Maybe that's why I always get new stuff. But, you know, I'll go through here, and if there's anything that doesn't have a number beside it, anything, I make sure to buy at least one of them. You know, like I have one of these. But if there's anything here at all that doesn't have a number beside it, that means I don't have it. And, you know, I did place this canoe earlier on my beach. I do have one of these placed in a build right now. I would recommend doing this before the next STARPATH, though. Why is that locked? Weird. That way, if you do have vault rewards and you end up not getting something new, you know, maybe that'll help prevent that for you. So you can make sure you get new stuff, because that's what it's supposed to do. Gameloft is notoriously bad with bugs. So whatever you can do to prevent those bugs and issues, I would recommend doing. But yeah, even if we go all the way down to like the most basic stuff, like I'm not going to use any of this. Like I'll probably never use this chair or this couch. But you never know, we might get a Dreamsnap challenge that's like about like gothic decor or like a dark kitchen or something, you know, you never really know. So having at least one of everything makes it a lot better when you filter for items or when you look through things. But there's not really any downside to having at least one of everything. And since there's no limit to how much furniture we can really store in our inventory, you know, it's not like you have to downsize it. But yeah, we've opened a lot of vault rewards on stream throughout this update. And today's the first day I've heard about anybody saying they didn't get new things. Probably because it's not that common. When it does happen to people, I'm sure they'll post it online or mention it in the stream. But considering that I haven't seen like widespread complaints about it, yeah, it's probably just from people that like sold all of something from Scrooge's shop, which is not a common thing. But if you don't want it to happen again, see, like today, you know, I don't have any of these tables left, but I didn't get this table. I got something new. I'm going to make sure I have one of everything. I think we're pretty good. And also, I don't have to worry about the premium items either, because those aren't Scrooge items, so those wouldn't register either way. I tend to do the same thing with crafted items as well. I make sure I always have one of each crafted item. At minimum. Usually I have a lot more than one of an item, but a minimum of at least one is a good place to be. That way when you search by filters, or when you search by color, or when you search by universe for a Dreamsnap challenge, you know every single option available to you. Man, they've added so much furniture to this game over the years. Oh my god. Oh, there's an item. All right, we're just about done looking through. I think I'm going to go check my screw chops, too, see if there's anything in Wish Blossom today. Go check Storybook Veil as well. Maybe I'll get that last vine. Probably not, though. Scrooge really should have an option to sort by things you don't have. Like, items you don't have any of, there should be a separate tab for that. The fact that you can just scroll through this entire thing to check is kind of crazy. All right, we're getting into the current stuff. Oh, there's one. That's one that I have in a room right now. All right, well, I should be safe. All right, there we go. I got at least one of everything. So now I don't really have to worry about that bug. Let me get a couple of these. All right, we're all set. Let's see if we got anything new today. Yeah, but at the very least, maybe you guys can avoid that bug just by scrolling through your Scrooge shop one night. It shouldn't cost too much to buy, like, one of whatever you may not have anymore. And it's not like star coins are hard to get in this game either. Kind of stupid you have to go through that, but it's better than not getting your reward from the vault. Guys said a lot of Scrooge items, a lot of Scrooge needs fixing. Like, I get the alien swirling saucer as a park item, so it has the Disney tag, but why is it not in the Toy Story tag as well? Well, you know, when it comes to tags, you know what they really need to allow? They need to allow us to make our own tags and attach it to items. Like, we can mark things as favorite, but I would love an ability to mark things as, you know, like a custom tag. Like, basically, creating a tag that's like beach stuff. how, you know, well, we have Halloween, but for example, Christmas, you know, we have a Halloween tag, but we don't have a Christmas tag. So when it comes to making Christmas snaps, you always have to search traditional, because a lot of that stuff comes up under traditional. But it would be really nice if we could make our own custom tags, and they would work in the Screwed Shop as well. So that way, you know, you could just like put things into your own category, which would make them, it would make it a lot easier to find the items you want. Because the only thing we can do right now is favorite things, and I don't want to flood my favorites menu, because the whole purpose of having a favorites menu is to make, you know, the things you use a lot a bit easier to access. So in my favorites menu, it's mostly stuff that works really good for Dream Snaps. So the Vizier's Alchemy table to push up my camera, the Aurora Borealis, Fireflies, Vitalis Lanterns, Rest in Peace, Fireworks, you know, different things that work really well for snaps, I favorite. Or, you know, other things that I know I'm going to use very often. The Garden Stones, for example. I should probably favorite Tropical Wood Floor as well. All right, let's go to Wish Blossom. Miss Spock said new bug. From what I've heard, Miss Spock, it doesn't seem like a very common issue, but some people that have opened their vault reward received items they already owned when the vault is supposed to guarantee something new. And most likely it tends, I mean, like from what I'm gathering, it's likely triggered by the fact that you refunded all of those items and the game thinks that you don't have them, even though you have technically already unlocked them. So today's my first day hearing about the issue. Okay, that's weird to see in here. So I don't think it's happened to a ton of people, but there are people that have encountered it, and I think one of the best ways to prevent it is to make sure you have at least one of each item in your inventory. That way the game doesn't accidentally give you something you already have when you open a vault reward chest. Nothing new. What a surprise. Amy said that's probably what happened to me since I sold my extras. Yeah, it could be. I mean, I don't know if that'll fix it, but hopefully it will. Because we'll have another set of vault rewards in the next StarPath, so I don't know, you could always try buying just one of whatever you don't have, and then hopefully it won't happen again. I think it'd be worth it just because the Scrooge items can be really elusive, so making sure you get something new. I would still open a ticket about it, though. At least that way, maybe they can patch it. Because if, you know, if people open tickets about the fact that they got, and you might not even have to do it, they might have it fixed by the next update. Because I'm sure some people open tickets about it. But the more people that open tickets about the issue, the more likely it is to get corrected. So yeah, I would consider sending a support email about it. And they might even mail you a new vault reward chest, you know? I've gotten tired of checking my Screwed Shop unless it's like update day. Because I never get anything new. That's why I've enjoyed the vault rewards so much. Because, I mean, at this point, I think I'm only missing like a handful of items. I'm excited to see which path the vault rewards will be from. Well, since this one was Garden of Whimsy, the next one will probably be Neverland. My guess, because Garden of Whimsy was like a year ago, and so Neverland came right after that. So if this year's vault rewards were from, or this season's vault rewards were from the Garden of Whimsy StarPath, then it serves to reason the next set of vault rewards will be the Neverland StarPath. And if that is the case, then Hopefully you guys will be able to get things like the Neverland Rainbow and stuff like that. Because I think the star paths in the filter option are in order. So if we go in here, and we go to our filters and we scroll all the way down, yeah, these are all in order. So since Garden of Whimsy was in the vault this time, I'd be willing to bet Adventures in Neverland will be in the next vault. And then the one after that will probably be Retro Road Trip, which is kind of a meh star path. And then after that, Wishful Thinking, Winter Warmth, Perfect Romance, Elements of Nature. They'll probably move down the line here. And since there's about 2 months in between, like, you know, each star path, give or take, this was, you know, Garden of Whimsy was about 1 year ago compared to Elements of Nature. So they're probably doing the previous year's star path in the vault, is my guess. I could be wrong, but I don't know. I think that tracks. Sunshine said for vault rewards, they should give both the original item and new recolored one. Yeah, I agree. I feel like, you know, especially for the Garden Stone here, I feel like if you didn't have the regular Garden Stone, they should have given you that as well. And then if you did have it, then you could have gotten a red chest and the new one. But yeah, it sucks because I do love the new Crystal Path. But so many people want the natural Garden Stones. They gave us, like, this new version of the Garden Stones, and they gave us the new Crystal version of the Garden Stones. Yet, neither one of these, they are prettier, and they do look a lot cooler than the original one. But the thing is, the original one is more versatile. Like, this one works way better for, you know, a lot of environments. The crystal one wouldn't look good here. The lava one wouldn't look good here. They're very fun. They're very beautiful. But they're not as versatile as the classic, you know, Garden Stones. And when it comes to Dreamsnaps, so many people want the classic one. As opposed to... Wait, can I... How come I can pick this one up, but I can't pick this one up? That's weird. I have to delete this to pick this one up. But this one is fine. Just game loft things. This game is horribly inconsistent. All right. The train. Are you talking about the one from Dapper Delights? This one here? Yeah, this one is cool because it fits on the Oswald track, which is really nice. Oh, you know what I need to do to prepare for the next star path? I'm going to go and do this right now. I'm going to craft a few large chests and then put them in the uncrafting station so I can claim Dreamlight from them. Oh, Moonstone chest right in the middle. Nice. Let's go storage. Where is storage? There we go. There we go. All right. Now we throw these in the uncrafting station, and whenever I get a star path duty to collect Dreamlight, all I got to do is pull it out, and we'll be done with that. That way I don't have to waste my shards or do a bunch of Dreamlight duties. That should be more than enough. Do you think they'll work in any of the older star paths? Because we'll hit overlap pretty quick. When you say overlap, I'm not sure I mean, well, I think the older StarPath stuff will likely just come to the premium shop like it has been. So there's not really a way we would have overlap because, okay, so Elements of Nature is what we have now, and the Vault is Garden of Whimsy. The next update will be, you know, a new StarPath, and then we'll have Adventures in Neverland. And there will be another new StarPath, and we'll get Retro Road Trip. And then another new StarPath, and we'll get Wishful Thinking. And then another new StarPath with Winter Warmth Vault. And then another new StarPath with Perfect. And then finally another new StarPath with Elements of Nature. There's not really overlap. We're not going to have, because there's always, you know, it's just going to keep moving. I mean, eventually, you'll get to a point to where you've already got the old items if you are a veteran player. But I mean, I'm already there. I've already done all of these star paths. I've done every star path. So for me, like the returning items, that's why what makes the vault good is it also gives you unique items. It gives you recolors. So we're not going to see overlap, really. We'll just see new Elements of Nature items when we get to the Element of Nature vault, right? Like we'll see new colorations of these Elements of Nature items. Same for Perfect Romance. You know, we'll see new colorations of Perfect Romance stuff. But we won't hit overlap because they both, you know, the current Star Path and the old Star Path, they're each a year between, and they always will be if they stick with that, you know, timeline. So it really just depends. It depends on how they want to do the vault. But if by overlap you mean eventually the stuff in the vault is stuff you already have, that's already the case for a lot of us. You know, a lot of us have been playing since the beginning of early access. So we're already experiencing that. But that's why the recolors are so good. And the vault rewards are so nice. Yeah, the vault is always a repeat, Boxed. I'm not really understanding what you mean. So, they mentioned this in the patch notes. The vault stuff is old star paths. So, repeating items. That's why they include, like, new colorations, you know, for some other items. But, you know, the marigolds, the mushroom table, this mushroom arch, this gazebo, you know. Oh, okay, you were talking to Kai. Gotcha. That explains why I couldn't understand. We'll find out soon enough if they're doing that pattern when you're back on Star Paths. That would be my guess, because the fact that we're getting Garden of Whimsy stuff and it's exactly 1 year old, it kind of makes sense that they would do this. For anybody that joined in the previous year that missed a lot of these items. But the funny thing is, even with this being a lot of Garden of Whimsy stuff, there's only one Garden of Whimsy reskin in the whole thing, which is this primary vault flower. This is a reskin from Oasis, and this is a reskin that goes all the way back to one of our oldest star paths, I think the second ever Winter Star Path. So that Arch reskin is from Royal Winter, I believe. Yeah, which was like several years ago. It's a reskin of the Winterful Beautiful Arch. So as far as the reskinned items we're going to get, it's kind of random. Like, one of them was from Garden of Whimsy, one of them was from Oasis, and one of them was from Royal Winter. So as far as the reskins, they could be anything. There doesn't seem to be a pattern there at all. And we haven't seen enough to know for sure there's going to be a pattern to which star path they put in the vault. But seeing as how Garden of Whimsy was about a year ago, it would make sense, I think. I think it would make a lot of sense for them to vault the previous year's star path. But as far as the extra reskin items, they could be almost anything. But yeah, for older StarPaths, you know, if you go way back, before Garden of Whimsy, this stuff just pops up in the premium shop every now and then. Like Villains, Haunted Holiday. Like around Halloween, you're very likely going to see Villain stuff. You're very likely going to see Haunted Holiday. The past several years, they've brought these items back around Halloween. During the Christmas season, you're very likely to see Festive, Royal Winter, and Frost and Fairies. And, you know, in spring, you're very likely going to see the return of Majesty and Magnolia's items. Potentially some Oasis Retreat stuff, so... And they do occasionally bring back Disney Park stuff in the shop as well. So just keeping up with, like, what's in the shop week by week. Matter of fact, do we have any StarPath stuff in the shop this week? Yeah, this is a Garden of Whimsy house right here. But nothing else is really StarPath this time around. So there is one StarPath item in the shop this week, which is the teapot. And during Desert Haven, didn't they put the Oasis Retreat StarPath house in the shop as well? I'm pretty sure they did. So yeah, I think for, you know, each week, I think there's always going to be kind of a random chance. Wow, 10% off on Corona Castle is actually pretty good. Because that was an expensive one. Getting this for just a little over 3,000 is kind of nice. Nightmare Castle's pretty cool. Still on the fence about this Corgi puppy. I love Corgis. I kind of want them, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, the Ferris wheel is probably the best Parks item in the game because it's so tall. It's really good for backdrops in Dreamsnaps. Very good background item because of its height. And then also like the giant Mickey face on it and the fact that it lights up. I mean, you can ride it too. I just don't really use that feature. I don't. There's nothing really appealing to me about hopping in a digital Ferris wheel and just sitting there. I mean, on some of the rides, it might be a cool way to, like, take a Dreamsnap, I guess. Those castles make me want to actually get Moonstones this week. The Corona Castle in particular, I would say, is probably the best one to think about getting, especially at 10% off. I love tall premium houses because one thing, you know, I always work to like fill out my skyline in Dreamsnap builds. So when it comes to very tall houses, I think they're very useful. They have good Dreamsnaps utility. And the Corona Castle is one of the tallest. Like, it's a very, very big premium home. It also fits in a pretty nice variety of builds. The Nightmare Castle is super old. That's been in the game for ages. I think it was actually one of the earliest premium houses. Yeah, it was the third one we got. This one's really cool, too. I mean, it's got kind of that Tim Burton quality to it with the way the steeples kind of turn and twist. But I've used this in a lot of, like, dark or villainous snaps. It's a pretty fun one to consider getting. AFK Knight said, "Hi, Lurker here. I need to change my username. Is why I haven't commented. My name is Amy, but there are several here, so Amy Joe is fine. Absolutely love the Corgi, and I'm so glad I bought them. Yeah, I grew up with Welsh Corgis, so I'm very tempted to get them. I'm just a little low on the Moonies, because I've picked up most of the stuff from the shop this cycle. I have him pinned right now, so I don't have to rush on it, you know. I'll probably get him, to be honest. I do love the fact that we have a little corgi in the game. I wonder why my Forgotten Lands grass doesn't show up over here. But it shows up over here. It's kind of weird. It just stops. I need to put this tree back. Let's make sure that area is empty so I can throw the tree back in there. I had moved it for my Dreamsnap video. Yeah, we gotta clean that up. There we go. I need another corner piece. Okay. That's better. Return to balance, return to form. Oh, you're not in any trouble, AFK Knight. It's a running joke we have. I'm probably going to unban the word limit because, like, yesterday, I think that happened to somebody, and they were like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And I was like, no, you're not actually in trouble. I saw your tips video, so sorry if you mentioned this already. As far as magical beach for this snap, do you think something that's more realistic but magical feel would work? Or does it need fantasy feeling, if that makes sense? So here's the thing, LOTR. I think it's safer to really lean into the magical aspect. Not, you know, just like with every challenge, when it comes to Dream Snaps, you want the theme to be extremely obvious. That's like the safest way to go about it. You want the theme to be very, very clear. So if your beach doesn't have a magical vibe to it, then, you know, that could end up not working in your favor. Not to mention, when it comes to Dream Snaps, historically for, like, you know, now for Seaside Chic, this wasn't the case because that was a very different type of challenge, but when it comes to snaps, like, you got to think about what the average voter is really drawn towards. So that colorful, magical quality is very popular, right? So using these items, like the Aurora and the glowing hangers and the glowing corals and the glowing palms, like that's going to give you a very magical beach feel, and it's going to give you an extremely high beauty factor. Both of those things are very important. So as for me, you know, like I always tend to what's worked for me and, you know, pretty much all my submissions is always adhering very closely to the theme. And since it says create a magical beach scene, like that's the scene it wants you to create, a magical beach scene. Now, when it comes to magical, that doesn't mean it has to be fantasy, but it does need to be magical. In a lot of ways, magical is tied to fantasy. So I would highly recommend using the beach items that feel magical. You know, like we have a lot of them, and they have a very high beauty factor. Now, there's different directions you can take. You know, like we discussed, you can go with like the Neverland StarPath stuff. You know, the giant shell gazebo is very magical. the Shell Archway, the rainbows. There's a lot of different magical stuff you can use there. And there's a lot of stuff from the Moana collection. Like, the luminescent trees are very magical. These glowing corals are very magical. These little ferns are very magical. But, you know, you want to make it very clear that your beach is magical. At the end of the day, though, as long as you have a very beautiful beach scene, you should do okay. Oh, is Rob here? I don't think I caught Rob. Only time I say, hey, Simbai, and shut up, Ashley. Nice. Good to see you, Rob. Good to see you. Johnny said, were you saying that you'd rather go older StarPath items that you don't have rather than reskins? That's what the vault is for. The reskins, you'll get them when you have every other item of the old StarPaths. Oh, you're talking to the Kai. Pokemon said you're restarting to Pokepia in the next few weeks, trying to realign my schedule with yours. Pugmom, if you are in the Discord, you know, I'll always announce when I'm playing. I'm actually planning on, well, I would like to play today if I have time. But no, I don't have anything like scheduled. But yeah, I was actually thinking about playing. No, there's no schedule in the Discord, Pokemon. I'm just saying when I go live, I'll always announce like what I'm doing that day. So Monday and Tuesday, we always do Snap reviews. Wednesday, I go over the premium shop. And Thursday and Friday is a bit more open. I just kind of do whatever I have going on that week. So sometimes it'll, you know, we'll do Pokepia. I'll probably play Pokepia a little bit later today. I mean, I would like to. We'll see, because I don't have much to do in Dreamlight Valley today. Tomorrow, we'll knock out some Dreamsnap reviews and maybe play a little bit of Pokepia, or I might play Subnautica 2. So I've really been wanting to get into Subnautica 2 since it came out. I mean, I really wouldn't even mind giving it a try today and looking at it. But yeah, as far as what I'll be playing that day, it's, you know, I don't have any like pre-scheduled Pokepia streams anywhere. On Fridays, the main thing I have to do, the big priority, is to knock out some of my Snap reviews, and then if I have some time remaining, I'll play Pokepia. And I'll likely do the same thing today, but I was doing Snap Snap Q&A first. But now that we're done with that, I'll probably play some Pokepia in a bit. What tool set? Lost Jewels, I think it depends on... This is the Electric Parade set. I might have all of those on. Oh, yeah. The pickaxe is Nefarious. And a lot of the other stuff is... Yeah, this is Nefarious for the Hourglass. So, yeah, I have a mix of Electric Parade and Nefarious. But yeah, a lot of my supporters are very, very, you know, kind of tied into snaps. So we've been, and since I started streaming on YouTube, Pugmom, we've been getting a lot of new people joining the supporter family. And a lot of them have been very curious about Snap reviews and Snap's advice. So since I started streaming on YouTube, that's been something I've been covering even more than before. So the demand from, you know, a lot of the people that make my content possible has been very heavy towards Dreamsnaps. And, you know, at the end of the day, I always have to consider that when creating content because, you know, the friends I have that are making the content possible, I need to make sure that I'm, you know, putting forth what they are seeking. But yeah, I do love to switch it up from Dreamlight Valley because I don't find a lot of pleasure playing the same exact game 5 or 6 days a week. I don't really stream the game at all on Monday and Tuesday. I just review snaps. So yeah, Thursday and Friday are the days where I will play Pokepia on occasion. But depending on what we do next week, I might actually be playing Subnautica 2 instead of Pokepia. That's why I don't really have, like, you know, a set schedule for Pokepia streams. I have a lot of friends here that'll just watch regardless of what I play, you know. I don't know what you know. I don't know what you want to reevaluate, though. Like, you know, if you're not interested in my content or in me as a streamer, then you know, there's a lot of great Pokepia streamers you can check out. You know, I don't want to make you feel like you got to be here. You know, there's a lot of people you can watch. Really, you know, when it comes down to it, I have a core community that will hang out with me regardless of what I play. And those are the people I think that, you know, I tend to want to prioritize the most. So, you know, people like Ashley that found me when I was playing Phasmophobia. Ashley actually didn't play Dreamlight Valley at all. You know, when I started playing it, for the first, like, 6 months of me making content with this game, she wasn't interested in the game at all. But she still came here and hung out because she was interested in me as a streamer and as a person. Now, I understand that there are a lot of people out there that they really will only want to watch if I'm playing what they want me to play. And that's cool. That's totally understandable. But, you know, at the end of the day, like, the two big things I prioritize are going to be, you know, the snaps are a big priority because there are a lot of people that support for snap reviews and snaps advice because that's something I cover very consistently. And then the other portion would be my core community. The people that are, you know, hanging out regardless. Like, I could be playing a scary game, I could be playing a survival game, I could be playing Dreamlight Valley, I could be playing Pokepia, and they're going to be hanging out. So, you know, if you need to, I guess, like, reevaluate, like, being here based on me just playing a very specific game, it might be better to find and seek out a streamer that specializes specifically in that game. And then if, you know, I end up playing it at some point and you get a notification for it, then you can always come hang out when I play that game. But yeah, you know, I don't want you to feel like you have to be here. You know, like, if you're not in, if you don't, you know, if me playing something you don't want to watch makes it not enjoyable for you, like, if, you know, if you're not enjoying the stream, then, like, there's tons of other great streams to watch. So yeah. Oh, dude, yeah, we really need to play Cult of the Lamb soon. I agree. Miss Fox says, I usually never watch people for a game. I find people through a game and I stay for the streamer. That's what I love to see. That's what I love to see. And that's been, you know, that's what I mean when I talk about the core community. There are a ton of people here that if I were to stop playing Dreamlight Valley, they will stop watching. And I love those people. You know, I love the lurkers. I love the people that want to watch me just for Pokepia or just for Dreamlight Valley. You know, I do appreciate it. But at the end of the day, the people that really keep my, you know, my career going and really keep me, you know, returning as a streamer and continuing to pursue content are the people that like me for me, not necessarily for the games I play. You know, they find me because we have a shared interest in a game, and they're like, you know what? I like this guy. I like how he speaks his mind. You know, I like his stance on things. He's entertaining. I have fun in his streams. I don't really care what he's playing that day. I'm going to go hang out. So, you know, there's a lot of those people here. So, yeah, that's, you know, I'm definitely still going to be making content with Pokepia. And if you're interested in Pokepia content, you know, you'll see a lot of it on my TikTok. You'll see a lot of it on YouTube Shorts. But yeah, I just don't understand, like, the reevaluate thing. Like, I'm not sure what we're evaluating. Like, do you mean you'd have to reevaluate whether you ever show up here because I'm not doing Pokepia as much? Like, that's, you know, if that's the case, yeah, I think it would be way better to just seek out a Pokepia streamer because there are a lot of them. But, you know, if you want to just drop in whenever I do play Pokepia, that's awesome. I'm here for the blobfish. LOTR says, same, I came for snaps, but stay for the community. I just don't do scary games. So that's when I won't be here because I'm a wimp. Yeah, scary games are one of those things that there is a fair amount of people that, you know, they'll have nightmares. They'll have nightmares, so they can't really do scary. Ghost says, you definitely make it fun. Autumn says, I don't play Pokepia, but it's always nice to watch you play. Except, watch you play, done except... I don't... Oh, I see what you're saying. I don't expect you to only play Dream Valley. Oh, yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, because if I only play this game, I'll definitely get burned out on it. And I'd rather avoid that. So I like to switch it up. And yeah, I'll probably play Pokepia here in a bit, actually. Because I need to finish my Withered Wasteland build. Yeah, I gotta figure out a banana stream at some point. Hope said you can sit here in silence and stare at the floor and I'll still be here lurking. Or watching. Very nice, I appreciate that. He said, hello everyone. What hat style do you recommend for a male character this week? For a male character? Do you have to use a male character? I switch it up, like, by challenge, you know. I think the thing is, since the challenge is referencing hairstyles, I think using a female avatar is better this week. I'll be straight up. You know, you can still use a male and potentially do well, but the thing is, you're going to have better hair options and better headwear options if you go the female route. I often use the female in Dreamsnaps because she has better accessories, better options. And sure, you can equip them to both characters, but a lot of things just look a lot better on the female. Yo, Alex, thank you, my friend. Alex with the very generous dono here. Thank you so much for the $20 dono. That is so kind of you. Almost done with today's goal. We are now at 39.54 on the board. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate that. Greatly appreciate that. Goal number, what is today? 173? Let's see. Monday was 170. Tuesday was 171. Wednesday was 172. Yeah, 173 today. Nice. Let's go. Thank you, Alex. That is very kind of you, very kind. But yeah, I do really appreciate the fact that there are a lot of people that will hang out regardless of what I play. And like I said, you know, my viewership tends to be at its highest when I cover Dreamlight Valley. But that's because I have a lot of content out on this game. And I do a lot with the community when it comes to Dreamsnaps. I cover that stuff so much. So, you know, when I play something else, there are a lot of people that just won't be interested. And it's the same, as you can see, with Pokepia. You know, there's people that are burned out on Dreamlight Valley, and if I'm not playing Pokepia, then they're not really interested in hanging out. Unfortunately, one thing you'll learn as a content creator and as a streamer is that it is literally impossible to make everybody happy. You cannot do it. It is like chasing a pipe dream. You will never be able to stream at the right time for everybody. You will never be able to stream a game everybody wants to watch. You will never be able to cover tutorials everybody wants to see. You'll never make the shorts everybody wants to consume. At the end of the day, there's just no way to make everyone happy. There isn't. So that's why, you know, what I found best is to focus on 3 big things and then just accept the rest. If somebody doesn't want to watch me because I'm not playing what they want, I just accept that. The 3 big things I have to consider when choosing what to make content with are going to be what the supporter community wants. That's number 1, because they're a big part of what makes the content possible. The people with, you know, YouTube memberships and Twitch subs, they're funding a lot of this operation. So, you know, I need to always be considerate of what, you know, what they're supporting for. Now, a lot of them, they're just supporting me because they like me as a creator. You know, they'll watch me play whatever. But there are a lot of people that support, you know, specifically for Snap reviews. So I can't just stop doing Snap reviews one week. You know, a lot of people would probably just cancel support at that point. Now, number 2 would be the core community. The way the core community feels is very important because that's probably one of the most important groups. Those are the people that are, they're going to be here regardless because they're not here for a game. You know, they found me through a game. They found us through mutual interest. And core community members will be with you for years. Like, they're the people that you get closest with, people that have a stream streak, you know, going on for God knows how long. And it doesn't matter if I play Subnautica, Pokepia, Animal Crossing, Dreamlight Valley. They're going to be here hanging out, laughing, joking around, chatting, or lurking, whatever it may be. So the core community, also extremely important. You know, if there's a game I play and even the core community doesn't like it, then it's off the table. You know, like if the core community is like, I don't know, that was boring or it was stupid, I'm not going to stream it again. And then finally and thirdly, I need to consider myself when I choose what I'm going to stream. I have to consider what makes me happy. Because if you try to make content with something, even if your community members want it, if you don't enjoy it as the streamer, you know, it's not going to be good content. You know, like, people aren't going to enjoy watching you trudge through a game you're not having fun with. So if, you know, like if everybody wanted me to play, I don't know, like Farmville is a good example because you guys joke around about that a lot, and I'm not really into it, even if everybody wants me to play it, it's not a good idea. You know, even if the core community wants it and the supporters want it, if I'm not going to enjoy it, it's actually going to hurt the viewing experience, and, you know, it's going to push people away. So those are the big three things. Those are the big three things, you know, I always consider when choosing what to make content with, what to cover. And yeah. Hope said 6 years later and still no Farmville. Yeah, sorry. Probably won't be. AFK said, I'm here for your awesome Dreamlight Valley tips, but you seem like a kind person, and I'm super interested in Pokepia, so I'll be here for that too. Hey, let's go. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Susan said, hi, everyone. What have I missed? Been sat in A&E with my son, so only just now getting online. Alex said, not too much. He's mostly been answering some questions. Yeah, we've just been covering some random Dreamsnap questions. So the most recent one was discussing, you know, what kind of headwear would be good for a male this week. And like I said, I'll be honest, I think it would be better to go with a female avatar. You don't have to use a male avatar just because you're a male. You don't have to use a female avatar just because you're a female. If you look through my Dreamsnap portfolio, right, I have a lot of different, you know, there's a lot of snaps I have that are either the male or the female, like Cowboy, you know, I did the male. For Winter Lodge Getaway, I did the male. Ranger's Runway, I did the male. And then for all my pirate snaps, I always do a male. I just think he works well. But for a snap like this week, 100% going to be going female because hairstyle is a big part of the challenge if you read the description. Not to mention, a lot of the good headwear for this challenge is just going to work better for the female avatar because it won't cover as much of the hair. Like the headbands kind of work better on the female, the tiaras, the coral mermaid band, stuff like that. It's just, I think, going to look a little bit better on her. And, you know, you could do a male with long hair like this. This could totally work. And you could also equip, you know, the same kind of head stuff to a male avatar if you wanted to. So realistically, I would say, you know, anything that works on the female, you could put on the male. But I do think the female avatar is going to feel a bit more natural with the hairstyle portion of the challenge. And I think some of the headwear is going to work a bit better on her as well. At the end of the day, you can always swap body styles in this game. You know, for all my videos, well, when did I turn red? Oh, I think that was for the anger snap. For all of my videos, you know, I'm always using my male avatar, and he's designed a very particular way. Yet, in a ton of my snaps, I'm using the female. So, yeah, you know, nice thing about the game is you don't have to use one or the other. And if a challenge is catering more towards female style, I think it's good to consider using her. Whereas, you know, if I'm doing a pirate snap or a knight snap, I'll probably be more inclined to use the male if it's a more masculine theme. So I guess the answer to your question here as far as what hats would be good for the male this week, you can do Anything that doesn't fully cover your hair, really. You know, I would just make sure the hair is very visible. Make sure, as we discussed in the Thursday tips video, making sure you can somehow customize the hair to make it very noticeable. You know, have a very distinct hairstyle. That's why I chose to use the hairstyle with the hair highlights. So if you do go in the direction of using the male this week, I would recommend the exact same thing. And if it doesn't look right on the male, like if it's not working out for you, just switch to the female. You know, there's no rules that say you have to use one or the other. I've been waiting this long and still no cookies. Am I supposed to give you cookies? Well, you know, we're not doing Farmville. Sunshine said maybe Hercules update will bring some cool mail stuff. I mean, there's a good chance for that for sure. I would hope so. You know, I think Hercules will be a lot of fun. I was going with the dreads with the blonde highlights. Well, depending on the color, you could always just hide a headband in it, you know. But if you try a bunch of headwear and, like, none of it looks good, you can always just swap to the female. But there's a lot of options, you know. I would just wear something that's... You can even wear a hat, honestly, as long as you have, like, very visible hair. Like, if it's the dreads that hang down behind you, then, you know, as long as they're visible and easy to see, you could always do, like, a pirate hat or something. You just want to make sure the hair is very visible and very impactful. You want to make sure it's a big part of the scene. What are some quality of life changes you'd like to see this update? I could go on about that for, like, hours upon hours upon hours. Mostly, I would say camera updates and, like, the ability to actually position villagers in Dreamsnaps and pets. Like, I wish there was a villager tab in furniture mode where I could just select a villager and just put them somewhere. And then I could click on them or select them and choose what emote they do, what animation. I could make them wave, I can make them, and then I can loop their animation, and then I can pause it where I needed to, you know. But the main things I would want to see in the game are things that make Dreamsnaps better and easier. Things that make Dreamsnaps take less time. So being able to position villagers exactly where you want to, being able to do the same exact thing with pets, those are the biggest quality of life changes I would like to see. Yeah, exactly like Harv's Island from Animal Crossing, yes. Exactly. What can you use if you don't have the garden stones? Tropical wood. Tropical wood path from Eternity Isle. This is, you know, actually I have some place right over here on my beach. This tropical wood path is very nice for the beach. You just need Eternity Isle for it because it takes tropical wood to craft. Harvesting potatoes, Percatito keeps regrowing them. Well, after he casts grow on them once, he's not supposed to be able to do it again. Also, decorating like a tab for the buildings. What do you mean by that? I've been thinking of an email for Dreamlight Valley. It's not becoming multiple emails because there's a lot of things I want to say, mostly just ideas and suggestions that I assume won't go anywhere. I mean, you could just put your suggestions on their Twitter posts. They'll always say, we'll pass that along to the team. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, right now, the buildings... Yeah, you're talking about, like, the craftable buildings. Yeah, they're all under, like, the miscellaneous tab, which is kind of stupid. Like, we need an actual tab for these. Because, like, the fact that a giant meatball and a lighthouse are in the same category is kind of silly. And since we have so many building modules now, you know, like the Glamour Gulch building modules, the Seaside building modules, the Tulip Town building modules, there's so many. You know, I would love to see a tab for, you know, buildings and walls. So like the Night Castle wall set, all the little buildings, and they could even put pet houses in there too, like, you know, the Pegasus pet house, whatever. That would be pretty swell. Finding pet houses sucks. Yeah, like on PC, I can just search them out. But when I'm on my Steam Deck, having to like filter and scroll through to find them is really annoying. I usually just use the Nightmare Before Christmas filter and just grab the Zero Fox one. I sent suggestions to the help desk, and they said they would pass it along. By the way, did I hear Vitalis Lantern started working again? I didn't hear anything about that. If so, that's great news. Let me check. Because, I mean, it is after 6, so we'll see. We'll see. I still haven't favorited. Nope. Nope, they are... The person that said that might not know what we mean by the fact that they don't work. They might have been confused. They might think, like, oh, the light's on, therefore it's working. But that's not what we meant when we said they're broken. So, most likely it's somebody that doesn't really know what we were chatting about with these. You know, they're still not casting light. So, if the person who said that does happen to be here, I can show you exactly what we're talking about. There is still a light that actually does this. It has Red Hanging Lantern in the name and it's still not showing up. I might be out of them. Wait, didn't I favorite them? There it is. So when we talk about the Vitalis Lanterns not working anymore, notice how when I put this light up against the building gets brighter. See this? This is actually casting light, which is a very rare thing in Dreamlight Valley. Well, at least it is outdoors. So the Vitalis Lantern used to do this, which made it one of the absolute best items in the game for dream snaps when you're outdoors. But since the most recent update, as you can see here, it no longer does that. So there is no light coming off of this, as there is up here. So whoever said Vitalis Lantern started working again, they probably didn't know what we meant about them not working. They probably just saw that they were on, and they were like, oh my god, it's on. And assumed that that meant they were good, but sadly that's not the case. They're still not casting light. Well, a lot of the quality of life changes we've had over the years have come from player feedback. The thing is, you know, the devs, they can't listen to everything we suggest, you know. They're not going to be able to do every quality of life change and every fix, you know. But, like, most of the things we have seen change, like most of the additions in the game, have come from player feedback. So voicing, your feedback and critiquing the game is pretty much the best way to see change. Yeah, I really hope they fix the lantern. I mean, they've been getting a lot of feedback on the lantern, so, you know, hopefully they will fix it. Any other Dreamsnap questions? Because if not, I'm going to play Pokepia for the last bit of the stream. Because we got like an hour left. I want to show you guys what I've been working on last anyway. I've actually started decorating the little houses of the villagers. And I have some pretty cool house themes. Also, before we do switch it up, we are very close on today's goal. If you guys are enjoying the content, consider supporting. A big portion of what I do is tip-based, but we are very close to our tip goal for the day. About $10 away or 1,000 bits away. Very close, very close. If you type !tip in the chat or !donate, you can get a link to donate directly to me as a creator, or you can send super chat or bits, whatever you may want to do. No pressure at all, of course. We've had a very, very long goal streak here on the stream. So we've hit 172 goals in a row. So yeah, eventually we'll miss a goal. But yeah, this is the longest we've gone. So we're definitely overdue a miss. Very overdue. My Dreamsnaps question is, how soon can you shut this game off? As soon as we don't have any more big questions. But I don't see any more big questions. I will need to go grab my Switch 2. It's in my bedroom. Ginger Snap, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Ginger Snap with 100 bits here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. If we get 9 more friends to do the same thing, we're all done. You know, with the goal at least. I would also love to play Subnautica today, but I think I'm going to wait. I might play it tomorrow. We can review some snaps tomorrow and then maybe play Subnautica on the back end of the stream. I'm going to go grab my Switch 2, though. Alice, thank you, my friend. Alice loves kimchi with a big 400. Thank you, thank you. Johnny says Subnautica looks fun. I've seen a couple streams. Yeah, Subnautica 2 just came out. Kendall, thank you for the hundo as well. We watched the trailer of it earlier today. I showed the trailer of it, but yeah, I played the first one, and I played Below Zero. I have both. And this one just came out this weekend. But I was at the anime convention. But essentially, Subnautica is a... I also talked to Mr. Star and Sky. They rated me earlier. And I talked to Star and Sky about potentially us doing a collab, trying Subnautica together or playing it together. Because this one's multiplayer. But Subnautica is an ocean exploration game where you're on like an alien world. And you gather materials and you make a little base and you basically explore this alien ocean. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. But this is the gameplay of it. It's a beautiful game, too. Like, the whole game takes place in the water. So for those of you that are like, I really want an underwater biome in Dreamlight Valley, well, we don't know if that'll ever happen, but you can always live vicariously through this. Vox, thank you for the 101. Kendall, thank you for the hundo. Alice, thank you again for the big 400. Johnny, thank you for the hundo as well. Much appreciated, much appreciated. But yeah, the game is beautiful, and very interesting. You know, like the idea of being in an alien ocean is pretty cool. But yeah, you build bases, little submarines. Like you can make all these different things together. And the first one was single player, but this one's multiplayer. It's on Xbox. It might be on PlayStation as well. I'm not sure. But yeah, the game is on Xbox, I've heard, and it's in early access. Like it just came out in early access on the 14th. So very, very new. But I love survival games like this. This is one of my favorite genres. It's like Grounded 2, Sons of the Forest, 7 Days to Die. You know, all games I've really enjoyed. Sunshine, thank you for the 200. And goal number 173 is complete. Let's go, let's go. Thank you, you guys. Much appreciated, much appreciated. Dang, another new record. Let's do that again. Hooray! All right, all right. Hope said, have you seen your special Pokemon in your inbox? Oh, I did. I didn't get a chance to reply to you, but I did. Ashley had also made me a really cute little Sprigatito. I need to add some new emojis to the stream anyway, because I still have like the Christmas ones on. Like the Christmas hoardy ones. But yeah, I'll probably add, you know, because Ashley did make me this Ditto and this cute little Sprigatito. And then I have Banana as well. This one's really funny. And she even made me a Gritty Goose. I haven't put any of these on yet. And then I have the ones that you recently made. Which was the little dancing sprig and the little blobfish. So yeah, I gotta update those. For some reason, I love playing horror games. I don't mind Monsters on Land, but Monsters Underwater, hell nah, says Miss Spock. Luckily, they're, you know, in the early game, they're not too bad. When you get to the really deep portions of the water, where you run into the, like the Leviathans, it can initiate a chase scene. And as far as what's scary, that depends on what you're scared of. If you have like, I think it's called thalassophobia or something, where you're scared of big things in the water. If that's a phobia of yours, then yeah, Subnautica can be scary. But when you first start the game, like, for the most part, 99%, it's not a scary game. Subnautica is not a horror game. It's a survival game. But every survival game is going to have things that try to kill you. Now, maybe that's scary for some people, but it's not a horror game. It's not a scary game. It's about survival. And in order for a survival game to be a survival game, there needs to be a risk of death. Otherwise, it's not a survival game at all. So, like, in Grounded 2... you know, the game where you're shrunk down as a tiny person, that is not a scary game at all. But if you're arachnophobic and you're terrified of spiders, yeah, seeing a wolf spider 10 times larger than a human is probably going to scare the hell out of you. If you have thalassophobia and you're scared of giant things in the water, seeing a giant squid try to eat you in Subnautica 2 might be scary. But there aren't jump scares. It's not a horror game. You can't even kill things in the game. It's made to be pacifist. So, yeah, it's definitely not a horror game. It's definitely not a scary game, not in my opinion. Can there be scary moments? Sure. But, like, this is 90% of the game right here. Where you work alongside with teammates, you gather materials, you build little bases, you swim around in these, like, beautiful waters. When you go into the deep, like when you go to where, you know, you can't reach the bottom and there's like giant creatures, I would say that's the only part of the game that can be actually scary. Like where you encounter Leviathans. But that is a very, very, very small portion of the game. So a lot of it is base building, swimming, collecting materials, working together with your teammates. You got to manage your food and your water intake, so you got to make, you know, you got to get little fishies to cook. You got to get little fishies to convert into water, like these little slugs. You can make water out of them. Then you go around kind of harvesting materials and progressing through the story to see what happened to you know, people that were here before, and you can build these really pretty underwater bases. But yeah, there are like little shark-like things like this, like smaller fish that'll try to get you. They'll try to bite at you. But the only thing in the game I would say that would be like actually scary would probably be the Leviathans. And you don't really run into them until you're pretty late in the game. And even then, it's more like a chase scene where you got to get away from them, and they don't really jump scare you. The music changes as soon as you get close to them. So yeah, no, I you know, when it comes to the genre, notice how it says similar to other games, and it shows survival games, but it doesn't show any of my horror games here. It's because it's not similar to horror games at all. Refresh your stream. Oh, my Steam. Oh, did you send me Subnautica too? You didn't have to do that. I'm assuming that's what you did. You received a gift. Hey, let's go. Thank you, my friend. I was going to pick that up. Well, much appreciated. Let's install it. Hell yeah. Nice. So yeah, we can either play... We can either try Subnautica for the first time with like the last bit of time we have left in the stream, or we can dive back into Pokepia. It's up to you guys. I'll make a poll. I'll let you guys choose. Either way, I'm still gonna probably create a separate world to play with, like, you know, if Mr. Star and Sky does want to join, I'll reach out to Left Shark as well. Maybe we can plan a stream where, you know, with, you know, the three of us and one more could all get together and play. I'm going to make a poll. I'm going to let you guys choose which one we're going to do. All right. And since the poll is live on Twitch, I will count your votes on YouTube as well if you just put in chat what you want. And you also don't have to vote, by the way. So I want to make sure you got your voices are heard on YouTube as well. So you can add to the chat which of the two you would like to check out next. Either way, I will be playing Subnautica soon, so if we don't play it today, you know. And I have some cool stuff to show you in Pokepia, so I'm down for either. I would love to try Subnautica for the first time with the time we have left, but I would also love to show you guys what I'm up to in Pokepia. So I am very happy either way. Either way, very happy. And we got about 30 seconds left on the poll over on Twitch. I think on YouTube we got... It's tied on YouTube. 2 for Pokepia, 2 for Subnautica. Okay. We'll have to see what happens with Twitch. Yeah, I'm chilling either way. I really need to finish my Withered Wasteland in Pokepia so I can make a YouTube video about it. I've put so much time into that build. Oh, you're good, Amy. You're good. I always typo when I try to type Subnautica anyway. I do the same thing. I do the same thing. I think tomorrow I want to try to start going back to the gym and exercising. I've been so out of shape. I've had my gym membership, and I just, like, stopped going, like, several months ago, and I just haven't gone back. I need to start going back. I just had to be really careful with what I do with my health. But the reason it's good to have a gym membership is there's a lot of exercise machines I can use that don't put pressure on my back. But man, I really need to start exercising again. I'm so out of shape. All right, let's see what happened. What a close vote. Oh, my goodness. It looks like Pokepia has won by 2 votes. Oh, wait. Pokepia has won by 1 vote. 1 vote! Oh, man. Whoever told you guys votes don't matter? Look at that. That's how important your voice is. That's how important your voice is, you guys. By 1 vote, it's Pokepia. Well, it's cool that you guys are kind of split. That means they're both kind of interesting to you guys. Oh, dang, Susan. Voting is closed, which would have tied it, but then BB came in and also said Pokepia. So you would have tied it, but then it would have been beat by 1 by BB as well. So yeah, looks like Pokepia is the winner. But yeah, like I said, I'm down for either because they're both fun. LOTR says, whoops, I meant to click Subnautica. Don't worry, we can play it tomorrow. I got some cool stuff to show you in Pokepia anyway. I've been working on some really cute houses. M said Subnautica, but gonna watch either way. Well, M's, if you had put that in the chat, honestly, if you would have put that in the chat and if LOTR would have changed her vote as she intended, then Subnautica probably would have won by 1 vote. But, you know, the voting is closed at this point. And, you know, like I said, I'm down for either. So, and it's so close. It sounds like you guys are down for either as well. So, that's a win. That's a win. Let's hop over to the good old Pokepia. And I'll show you guys what I've been working on that game. Give me 1 second. I gotta go grab my Switch too. And, oh, I wonder if my capture card is set up. Hopefully so. Hopefully so. Yeah, give me 1 second, guys. I will be right back. I'll be right back. Poor little Horty. Jordan is gone. She's not home right now. And he was sleeping on the bed. And he got so excited when I walked in there to get my Switch. He was like, meh, 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 meh. Hi, buddy. You can come in here. Hi, little guy. He thought I was done streaming. He got really pumped up. I was like, no, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm just getting my Switch. Look at this happy boy. Hi, buddy. You can probably hear him purring all the way from over here. He's got a very loud purr. Hi, buddy. Hi, good boy. Yes, he's a good boy. He loves his dad. He's so good. He's such a good boy. Yes. Yes, he's a good boy. I'm sorry, I'm still streaming. We're going to play a little bit of Pokepia. Yeah, there you go. You can get in your stream bed. Uh-huh. Ah, that's a big yawn. You skeegee? You skeegee boy? Hi, buddy. Like a boy. Okay. All right, all right. Hopefully my capture card is still synced up and I don't have to close my stream. Uh-oh. My Switch might be dead. Oh boy. Well, probably should have had this plugged in. We might not be able to play Pokepia after all. Well, I mean, I can always give it a minute to charge. Gotta wait for a second. That's my bad. Which song? This one? Or the last one? This song is called Crimson Leaves by David Weiss. It was part of a game called Tengami. The previous song is called A Walk in the Woods by Martin O'Donnell, and it's from Halo Combat Evolved. And then the one before that is called Uncharted Worlds, and it's from Mass Effect. But this one is Crimson Leaves. Oh, we're in. It's working. Nice. We got it. All right, we're good. So you need to tell your glove story again sometimes, and newbies are confused by your reference to them. Yeah, we'll have to do that at some point. I agree, I agree. All right, let me close Dreamlight. Yeah, I've been working on a really pretty build here in Pokepia. Actually, something really fun. I started moving my Pokemon into houses and decorating the houses, and it's really cute. And mods, if you want to switch game to Pokepia... Oh, you already did. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you. We won't worry about it on YouTube. We'll just keep, we'll just stick with what we are. Also, when I did my cosplay, I had, like, a goatee for the cosplay, and I've never had, like, a goatee before without the beard and the mustache. And I kind of like it, so I kept it. I don't know, just fun story time, I guess. In Dreamlight Valley, can any mining companion pick up pixie dust? Mining villagers will duplicate it. So, mining companions should be able to as well, I would assume. Yeah, let me show you guys what I've been making. So, I made this whole fighting type Pokemon dojo here. And we have started working on this back area, one of the last areas I need to finish for this region. And I've been making themed houses for the Pokemon. So if we go inside, this one is some bug-type Pokemon, and they like lots of nature. So, like, look at this pretty little home We have, like, they like wood stuff, so they have, like, wood tables and, like, wood crates and, like, wood block toys. And they like lots of nature, so I've got, like, plants and mushrooms and vines inside. It's so fun. I actually decorated this on my way to the convention. Like, whenever Jordan was driving, I would just work on these houses. And this is the upstairs, very similar to the downstairs. But I have a lot of these fun houses. Now for... I think the one beside this is also the same because they're also bugs. Like this one here. Very similar. Except I think these ones like cute furniture. Yeah, they like the cute furniture set. So I put a pattern on the cute furniture and gave him a cute little doll and a cute little vanity. So I gave him a lot of cute stuff, but very similar. This is a smaller house. It doesn't have the upstairs. They also like group activity, so I gave him a slide. Now I'm going to show you a really fun one. The third house I finished, the downstairs of this one are these two like mushroom Pokemon, Paris and Parasect, and they have like mushrooms on their back. So I made this whole mushroom-themed kind of environment here, where we have like mushrooms on the tables and like fun little patterns. And they like humidity, so I gave them a little water trough. And the upstairs is for these two cactus-like Pokemon that like dry environments. So I made this very dry, kind of desert-themed room. And they also like lots of nature, so there's like grass and stuff. They keep shutting this window. But yeah, I really like this one. It's very fun for the cactus Pokemon. Oh yeah, AFK Night, this game is super cute, super fun. This is a game that will quickly consume your life when you start playing it. Yeah, the houses are very similar to Animal Crossing. Like the way decorating works inside. You push things around the same. I also made Koga's gym. So, the Withered Wasteland is Fuchsia City, and the gym leader of Fuchsia City is Koga, the poison type gym leader. I haven't done the inside of this yet, but this gym is... I built this whole thing from scratch. I gave it these like Japanese-style rooftops, and I gave it a purple theme since that's kind of Koga's color theme. I'm going to make like a big gym, like battle area right here in the middle. I haven't finished this build yet, but it's definitely pretty dang sick looking. And I did finish my bridge, which connects here, and then it goes along the side that way, and it goes along this back path, and then connects to... Oh, there's Ho-Oh. Connects to, like, the Snorlax Shrine and everything over there. But yeah, I've decorated pretty much this whole area. All I have left to finish before I make a YouTube video giving a tour of this whole thing, I gotta decorate, you know, this whole area with trees and grass, and I gotta finish a couple more houses. But yeah, I've made a lot of progress. You finished the Lost in Mewtwo lab? Yes. Not as much as I would like, though. I've been so busy, like with the convention and with how much we've been doing with the Dreamsnaps lately. Sadly, I haven't had a lot of time to put into it. Thankfully, on the way to the convention, I was able to do a bit of work on it. But yeah, over the past like 2 weeks, I've only been able to put a few hours into it. Aside from, you know, when we were traveling, I was able to do a good bit of work on the houses. But yeah, what I want to work on next is, you know, adding like grass and flowers to this whole area, some trees, like really sprucing this area up to make it look like the other areas. Because if we look at the rest of the areas in my biome, you know, they're like fully covered with flowers and grass and lily pads and crops and, like, you know, this is how the areas look when they're actually finished. So I want to get that back area looking more like this. I'll probably work on a good bit over the weekend. And since I'm not going out of town this weekend, I'll probably make a new set of Pokepia shorts for YouTube shorts and for TikTok. Get my stamp. But yeah, we also made this fighting type dojo. You guys probably saw this one because I put it on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. I made a Zen garden right here with a little torii gate behind it. And we made this fighting type dojo for all the fighting type Pokemon. It's like a little training dojo. It even has a little upstairs. You can come around here. And this is where a few of them live. Made a little living space for them up here. Now, if you've never seen this game, it's kind of like Minecraft meets Animal Crossing meets Pokemon. I also put a hot spring back here for the fighting type Pokemon to relax after training. But in the game, you can kind of build with blocks and like roof pieces and stuff, so you can just build like whatever you want, you know. And that's how I built this house and, you know, this big structure here in my Pokemon mansion. It's all built block by block, piece by piece. It's been a lot of work. I put a lot of work into this single biome. I did not mean to suck up that stick. Dang it. Do I have another one I can put in its place? Yes. There we go. Put a little rock here too. There we go. And most of you guys have probably seen this. Deep underground, I made a big fire cavern for all the fire Pokemon. So they all live down here. Now, this was a project. This took me multiple weeks to complete. This was a very time-consuming build. Skull said I spent 6 straight hours playing once. I got going the first time. Didn't even do that with Dreamlight Valley. Yeah, this game, even more than Dreamlight Valley, this game is a game you can really get lost in because, you know, the level of customization is much higher than Dreamlight Valley because you can completely terraform. You can add ponds, you can add hot springs, you can add water, you can add lakes, you can add oceans. You can get rid of the ocean. You can just build blocks all the way out. You know, you can do just about anything you can imagine. So with that level of customization, this is definitely a game where you can sink thousands and thousands of hours into this game and not even be 10% done building everything you could build if you really wanted to. And the funny thing is, as big as this map is, if you guys haven't seen this before, you might think this is the whole game. No. This is one of 5 different regions. So this is Withered Wasteland, but we also have Bleak Beach, we have Rocky Ridge, we have Sparkling Skylands, and we have Pallet Town. And Pallet Town is roughly 5 times the size of this. So I've got a lot of hours in this game, but like pretty much most of my time and effort has been spent in this one area. Now this is my house right here. This is my Pokemon mansion. So I live here. This is my room, my little humble bedroom. Got my gaming PC. And then we have my foyer, which is like a little museum in itself. And then behind that, we have a little garden inside of the Pokemon mansion. Over here, we have a little indoor hot spring. You can come in here and relax. And you can even see out the windows, like into the garden. Or you can look out here at the dojo. And downstairs, we have my workshop and storage. So this is where I keep all my resources. And then over here, we have a little utility room with a little extra storage for overflow. And on this side, got another utility room with some furnaces for electricity. This takes us to our berry farm, which is in that big building over there. And if we come down the elevator, this will take us into that fire cavern that's actually below the mansion. And yeah, you can even build elevators and like sky lifts But yeah, the amount of time and work I put into this has been pretty insane. So whenever I do make a YouTube video showing off this build, hopefully it'll be worth all the effort. I think most people that play Pokepia that see this are going to be like, bro, why did you do all that? That's actually insane. And I'm not going to lie, it is. You know, most people that play this game kind of just work a little bit on each area, whereas I have just put all of my effort into one spot. But, you know, it's been pretty fun. I'm very happy with the way it's turned out. Over here, we have a cute little flower shop that I made. So, you know, a little store that sells flowers and goodies. We got some glowing mushrooms for sale today. And then back here in this waterfall, we have a house for some water Pokemon. This is a really pretty home. It's got the disco balls to make it look like light reflecting off the water. It's very blue. You know, there's a little humidifier, a little indoor pond. And if you go straight through the house, it actually connects to that back section we were in earlier. And over here, I have this dockside cafe. I haven't done the inside of it yet, but we're going to add like a few tables, a little service station right here. And if we come back here, there's this dock, and I might have some outdoor dining on the dock here. Got a little Snorlax buddy. That's his shrine. But yeah, after we do some Snap reviews, we'll probably play this tomorrow. I mean, I'd like to play Subnautica as well, but I don't know, we'll see. My friend Tommy wanted to play Subnautica as well, so if he ends up being free tomorrow, we'll start with Snap reviews, but I might do Snap reviews until like 5 and then switch to Subnautica. But yeah, I definitely want to get on some Pokepia again soon, because I want to finish this build. And I wasn't able to make any YouTube shorts last weekend, so hopefully this weekend I'll be able to get some more TikToks and YouTube shorts out based on some of the new builds we've done. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's where we are right now. Yeah, it's definitely taken a while, Susan. It's been... do we have to have some knowledge about Pokemon to play this game? No, not at all. The game is... you know, one of the reasons this is the highest rated Pokemon game of all time is because it kind of bridged the gap between Pokemon players and non-Pokemon players. It's kind of like how you can play Animal Crossing without knowing about the villagers. So, in the game, there's a little Pokédex that'll tell you what the Pokemon like. You know, if you select them, you can look at their favorites. Like, you know, for Charmander, if you want to give him a house that makes him happy, you know, giving him lots of fire, wooden stuff, hard stuff, exercise stuff, group activity, spicy flavors, like this is all what he likes. So you don't need to have any knowledge. The game tells you everything you need to know. And it's very easy to play, very easy to enjoy. And it's a really cute introduction to Pokemon as well. But yeah, you really don't know, you really don't need to know much about Pokemon at all to enjoy the game. As far as, like, when you would want to know about Pokemon to play a Pokemon game, that would only be if you're trying to play competitively. You know, like if you're playing a Pokemon battle game, if you're going to be battling other real players, then there's a lot you need to know. But in a game like this, it's a cozy game. So, no prior knowledge necessary to enjoy this at all. You can easily dive right into Pokepia and have a great time. And it's super cute, you know, it's a super cute game. But yeah, it'll kind of walk you through everything. But yeah, I've been working on the little houses. So I have 2 areas left that I need to finish, and I'll actually be completely done with this entire region. So I need to decorate this whole area here, which has been a big project because I had to build the bridges, and I made the Pokemon gym, and I'm currently decorating the inside of the houses, so I have to finish that. And then aside from this area, I have 2 other areas I need to finish. So if we come over here, I haven't done this little zone. I'm going to turn this into like a giant garden / farm area for crops. And then the last area I'll need to do before I'm completely finished with this region is going to be the beach access area over here. So if we go through this tunnel down here, it takes us to the beach. And I need to decorate over here. So I'll probably add some palm trees, maybe build a little beach house over here on the side, bring the sand out a little bit more, add a little bit more to this region, hang some more vines from the wall here. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got left. So I would love to put a bit more time into it so I can get this finished and make a YouTube video on it. But yeah, a lot of the prior Pokemon knowledge won't really do much for you in this game, because this is the first, like, cozy Pokemon game, you know, where, like, combat is not really a thing, you know, it's more just about being creative and decorating. So there's never been a Pokemon game like this, so even if you know a lot about Pokemon, it's not really going to help you much, you know, like, the game will, it's a one-of-a-kind game, so you can go into it knowing absolutely nothing about Pokemon and, you know, do just fine. And even if you have prior knowledge of Pokemon, it doesn't really play into the game much. I mean, it might play into how you design things and how you build, you know, but there's like no right or wrong way to go about that. Yeah, Meredith, I've played most Pokemon games. I haven't played every single Pokemon game because there's so many. But yeah, I'm a very avid Pokemon enjoyer. The newer games I haven't really gotten into, like Pokemon Z and A. Didn't really get into it. Didn't get it. Last new Pokemon game I played besides this was Scarlet and Violet. So I played Scarlet and Violet. And the last Pokemon game I played that I really liked was Pokemon Legends Arceus. I thought that was really good. But yeah, if we'd come on here a bit earlier, I would have time to do some builds and decorate a bit. But maybe we can focus on that tomorrow. Dreamsnap reviews this week should be easier because this challenge is a bit more straightforward than last week's or the week before that. So I think reviews this week, you know, will be something we can get through, navigate through like a bit easier. So I'm thinking what we'll do tomorrow for Friday is we'll go live with Dreamlight Valley at first. And I might go live a little bit earlier, maybe around like 3. And if my friend Tommy is free by 5, then we'll play Subnautica 2. But if he's not free tomorrow, then we'll just switch to Pokepia. Either way, we're going to switch it up tomorrow and play something other than Dreamlight Valley after we do some Snap reviews. Just so I can have a bit of a break from the game. And I'd be totally fine either working on completing this build or diving it deep into Subnautica. Thoughts on Winds and Waves coming out? It looks cool. It looks cool. It's the first, like, official, I think, Switch 2 Pokemon game, aside from Pokepia. So, you know, and the new I think it has new starters, right? Yeah, it does. It has that new, like, grass form owl that looks angry. It looks cute, you know. I might play it, I'm not sure. I'm not really known as a Pokemon streamer, though, so there's a lot of people that stream Pokemon, and they're, like, really well known, so if I go live with Pokemon, I'm not usually going to get, like, much traction with it. Now, with a game like this, I tend to get a bit more because I'm well known for cozy games and creative games. So any game that allows me to build or flex my creativity, people tend to really enjoy seeing that from me. But in, like, a regular Pokemon game, you know, that would probably just be the core community here, and that's it. And I wouldn't mind playing it. I just, you know, it would just be hard to find enough time to really enjoy it. And I have so much I need to get done in Pokepia that I don't know if I'm going to have the time for Winds and Waves. This game has scratched my Pokemon itch well because it allows me to be creative and build and decorate, and it's just really, really nice. ZNA was so disappointing after. That's why I didn't get it. It got a lot of hate because, like, you know, the fact that you couldn't go into most of the buildings and the way they designed the game felt very rushed and very cheap. And Pokemon Legends Arceus was so good. It was one of the best modern takes on a Pokemon game I've ever seen. The fact that it took you back in time to, like, the first Pokedex, and you had a paper Pokedex, and you actually had to study the Pokemon. Like, you had to watch them use certain moves a certain number of times. You had to watch them inflict certain status effects, and you had to, like, update your notes on them. And also the catch mechanics were really cool. The fact that you can ambush them, you can sneak up on them, you can catch them off guard. Shiny hunting was really fun in that game. And the story was very cool, too. Like, you got to actually, you know, meet the Pokemon god, Arceus. Like, so very, very good game. And I didn't play ZNA, but, like, I watched a lot of footage from it, and I watched a lot of opinion pieces on it, and I kind of agreed with what they were saying, which is Nintendo sometimes just gets a little too greedy and just kind of rushes out these half-baked products and charges $70 or $80 for them. Pokepia is well worth the money. There's a reason this is the highest-rated Pokemon game of all time, and that's because even if you're not a Pokemon enjoyer, even if you're somebody that's never played Pokemon, you can fall deeply in love with this game. And if you are a Pokemon fan, you will still very likely fall deeply in love with this game, and I think that's why it's the highest-rated Pokemon game of all time. And that's saying a lot, because there's been a lot of good Pokemon games. So the fact that this one came out and made the waves that it did and became the highest-rated Pokemon game, even though it's a brand-new take on the Pokemon franchise, I think that speaks volumes about the game, you know? But yeah, it is massive. So, Susan, you were asking how big the map is. This one here, I can pull it up in my little Pokedex here. If you look right below me in the bottom left, this kind of shows how big the map is. Like, the beach I was at is out down here in the south. And then we have that gate to the north back there behind me. But this is just one map of many. I'll show you another one. We'll just go to Pallet Town, show you how big this is. This game is also multiplayer. People can visit you. They can, like, there's actually a 6th build you can make called a Cloud Island, and you can have, like, a dream address like you have for Animal Crossing, where people can just visit you anytime, even if you're not online. I haven't built my Cloud Island yet. I've been too busy working on Withered Wasteland. But Pallet Town, the place where we're going now, is one of the few places in the game where you can actually build it with friends. So this area here is absolutely massive, and you can have, like, a bunch of friends come play and build here too. So I haven't done much with this, but just to give you an idea of the size and scope, this is just one of the areas in the game. But, like, look at how big these regions are. And this is all fully customizable. You know, you can terraform, you can build giant buildings, you can build skyscrapers, and we can just keep going back here. Like, we'll just keep going. And again, you know, the area you saw that I've been working on, that's why I was saying you can put thousands of hours in this game and still have plenty to do. Like, I've got, I don't know, probably 500 hours or so logged in Pokepia, and I'm still working on the first area. And if I wanted to take that really far, I could probably put 1,000 hours into it, honestly, but I'm not going to do that because I would like to work on the other areas as well. But yeah, this is, you know, there's so many big areas that you can decorate. And a lot of the areas have, like, different themes as well. Yeah, Dekai, once you unlock Magnemite, it really makes decorating the game so much better and easier. So once you beat the main story in the game, you can actually just, you know, grab and move blocks And a really fun thing you can do is you can swap a bunch of blocks at once. Like, I can just swap all those out. Swap them back. Or you can, you know, just place a whole bunch of blocks at once like this. So if you're building like a big bridge or a tower, you know, you can do that very quickly. But as far as some of the other areas, we have Sparkling Skylands, which is like these floating islands in the clouds. This is a pretty cool area. No, I wish you could. I really wish they would add that, remove multiples at once. It's kind of sad that you can't. You can swap multiple blocks at once, and you can place multiple blocks at once, but they must be destroyed. You can remove like 4 at once with the punching ability if you stand in the right spot. But yeah. I wish you could. So this is another area. This is the Sparkling Skylands. And it's these floating islands in the clouds. So you have this one with the big building on it. There's another big floating island over here. And you can connect these with like these lifts. So you just like hop on the lift and you can go back and forth between all the different little islands. You can also just fly to them. Again, I haven't done much on these regions because I've been really busy trying to finish my first one. So this one's still kind of in disrepair. You have like, basically the game takes place after an apocalypse and all the humans are gone and it's just Pokemon that are left. And you're kind of rebuilding the world. So there's like a lot of old roads and damage and you kind of go through and, you know, remove the broken pieces. And even if you're not the most creative person, there's like kind of a blueprint in place to where you could just focus on repairing everything if you didn't want to like build something different. You could just work on fixing these old buildings because they're already kind of set up for you. And then we have Rocky Ridge, which is the next area we'll go look at. And this is a mountain region. There's different like mine systems. There's the volcano. There's a lot of lava. There's all kinds of stuff in this one. Yeah, that's why I feel like it's well worth the price, Susan, is because, I mean, I think it's a $70 game, but there's no microtransactions. You won't ever have to, you know, aside from when DLC comes out, like at the end of the year or like early next year, we're supposed to get like 4 new regions, which is going to be even more. And it'll probably cost the same as most Pokemon DLCs. Probably going to cost about $30. But that'll give you 4 more areas to decorate, as if you'd even be done with the first ones. But yeah, we have this area here, which is a lot of mountains. And you know, if we wanted to go inside of the mountains, we have our little minecart here. And I know I said I didn't do a lot of work in these areas, but I did repair the mine system and everything. There's also like a museum buried back here in the mountains. But yeah, essentially the idea of the game is that you're kind of rebuilding the world because you want the humans to come back. They left and went to space because they were having some like really bad weather anomalies and stuff. And the Pokemon were all like put in stasis. All right, we got one more area to check out. Oh, good old Stardew music. That's another game I would love to play on stream. I've done so many Stardew Valley playthroughs. I don't know how many Stardew Valley fans we have here. But that's one of my favorite games of all time. I can't wait for Haunted Chocolatier to come out. And this last area is Bleak Beach. It's this big coastal community. This one will be fun to rebuild as well. You have like this big cruise ship back here. There's like an old power plant. And there's even back here in the mountains, like a whole separate little village area. So yeah, there's so much you can do in this game and build. And there's really cool builds online. So if you guys want to see some of my builds in more detail, you know, check out my YouTube Shorts, or you could also check out my TikTok. Most of what I've been posting on YouTube Shorts and TikTok lately has been Pokepia content. Do you have any idea on an issue I might have when it comes to purchasing a Moonlight... You mean a Moonstone bundle? I don't know. It depends on what your issue is. When you say you're having an issue purchasing it, what do you mean? Harvest Moon, you gotta check your mailbox. Anything you get from a Moonstone bundle that has like houses and clothes, it doesn't go directly to your inventory, it goes to your mailbox. And I've heard sometimes people have had to restart their game to like get the items to show up. And if you've already done that, then no, there's nothing I can do. You know, I don't work for Gameloft, so you know, like I can't really help you with it, but I would open a support ticket for sure if you spent money and you didn't get your stuff. I've never had that happen. Pretty much every time I purchase anything, you know, I just immediately get it in the mailbox. Make sure you're connected online by, like, you know, refreshing the shop. And then restart your game, check your mailbox. If your stuff didn't come in, then you'll need to open a ticket. But yeah, thankfully, I've never had that issue, but I would be pretty mad if I did. All right, let's go back to my happy home. But yeah, I've put a lot of time in the game, and I've just been working on the first area. But there's so much you can do. Alex, I saw your comment a little bit ago. You said Animal Crossing on steroids. Yeah, pretty much. It really is. You know, like, it has a lot of similarities to Animal Crossing, like how you can decorate, how you can move things around. There's some very definitive similarities between the two games. It's just like 100 times the size of Animal Crossing and way more customization. It also, much like Animal Crossing, it operates on real-world time. So since it's after 7 p.m. for me, it's nighttime in the game. But if I wake up and play in the morning, it'll be sunrise. And the time in the game changes with real time. Just like Animal Crossing. And you can also, you know, change the date and time settings on your Switch. If you wanted to make it daytime, you can just, like, you know, set your Switch up for daytime. But yeah, now that I've given you guys the tour, you've been able to see it. So, hopefully you enjoyed my little Pokepia journey here. Would definitely love to play again soon. We might play tomorrow. You know, the first thing we got to start off with are some Snap reviews just to put a dent in them, so we're not here super late on Monday. And then after that, we will either play Subnautica or Pokepia. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I should know by the time I go live which one we're going to do. But yeah, that'll be it for today's stream. I'm going to give Horty some attention. And this evening I might work on the build a little bit more. Might just work on this tonight a bit. But yeah, thanks for sticking around and checking out the Pokepia build, you guys. I do appreciate it. Very awesome to see that there's still so many of you here. We still got, yeah, between YouTube and Twitch, still almost 100 people hanging out. So that's great. That's great. All right, y'all. Well, if you want a snap review tomorrow, I won't be able to guarantee snap reviews for everybody tomorrow. But if you've already made your Beachy Bliss Snap and you submit it, there's a chance we can get to you tomorrow. I'll try to go live. I'll probably make a Pokepia short, like, in the morning. And then I'll try to go live for snap reviews around, like, 3. So maybe we can do a couple of hours of snap reviews and a couple of hours of either Subnautica or Pokepia, depending on what the agenda is looking like. But yeah, thank you so much for you guys for big goal number 173. Awesome, awesome. Much appreciated. Big shout out to Alex for the very generous donut earlier. Big shout out to Sunshine, Johnny, Voxed, Kendall, Alice Loves Kimchi, Ginger Snap, Bell, Black Knight, Scuttle, Jennifer, Samoyne at the beginning of the stream with the big 1,000. Thank you, thank you. Dekai, and Pops, and Hope. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right. Oh, and Ashley, thank you for the 5 gifteds earlier as well during that little treasure train. That was fun. Well, that'll be it for today, you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will see all of you tomorrow. So we'll knock out some snap reviews, and, you know, we'll get into either Pokepia or Subnautica. Have to figure out which one. All right. That'll be it for today. Have a